you can, that's another whole topic. You don't have to do that though.
Look, I want to manage because there's risk in investments. So
you can say and or signs, and you can do or other entities you can do.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
I had people coming over last. I had real estate. Yeah.
He probably got something. But normally I'd be early and I'd change it last month. I realized so. Okay, everybody got those low calorie donuts?
Thank you.
Looking at them doesn't take the calories away.
What's that?
I have tried that in the last 30 days. It's not working.
How are you doing? How's your first day out? Oh, thank you, sweetie.
Yeah.
No,
Yes.
good. This is black.
Okay. If you would go ahead and work your way back to the chairs. How is everybody doing?
Good.
Anybody got a house story for me? Before we start?
You want a house story? I can tell you about one. Is a time when I owned 2 houses, and when the very first house I was bought, I paid for it over a 2-year period, and
You paid for the house in 2 years?
yes, sir. Modest one bedroom, 1 bath brick house.
Okay.
Built almost 100 years ago type deal. But anyway, from the house story, I learned that when you leave a house vacant, people have a tendency to do evil to it. They actually took down the doors and plugged the windows, ripped out wiring, and so forth. So
I'm going to talk about a vacant house.
No.
well, one's a very good neighbors until the neighbor chied off.
Anybody else got a house story? Anybody do a deal this last month? Anybody buying or selling?
Always.
I was looking at those storage units. One, my husband was astute enough to say, I think it's been underwater here. Pictures indicated that it probably went through a hurricane damage and maybe sat too long, and all the doors are rotted and all the black mold. Yeah, it was rough, so we passed.
I'll give you something about.
And they didn't disclose that?
No, I brought it to their attention. They're like, okay. I said, we'll pass.
Oh, we didn't.
Yeah, Houston.
So there's a way to go through and see if a property's had flood damage. You got questions I can probably help direct. I learned the lesson the hard way on the last property I had. A couple of quick lessons on that is yes, hurricane hit 2017 was a really bad hurricane. Places flooded that should have never flooded.
Mm-hmm.
But you can go in and look and see where FEMA's got them listed, and FEMA is the one that sets up where the flood zones are. But there's a loophole here that most people aren't aware of, and even the insurance companies. So you're gonna, when you buy your property, you're gonna have to get a property, or what do they call it, a survey.
Uh-huh.
There's another part of it that most people don't even think of it. You're in a flood zone. Your house is lifted to avoid the flood. There's what they call a center line survey that they can throw into that survey, which will determine whether or not the house is going to be considered in the flood zone or not. Even though the property is, if the house is high enough, they'll drop your insurance. So instead of having to have flood insurance, if you've got your house raised, say 2.5, 3 feet, you can come out of that flood zone because they're not going to have to insure the damage, right? That's just a tip that I thought I'd pass along.
The other solution for that is don't buy inflation.
No, yeah,
Stay away.
That's the reason they're getting good deals.
yeah,
That's right.
exactly.
Stay away from the coast.
I have a thing, if you're buying a condo and it's gated, you need to make sure you're going to the condo association to see if they allow dumpsters. We just bought one from New Western. I mean, I'm suing New Western. Yes, and I'm going to win thanks to Martin Garcia because they did not disclose it. And we are doing a full rehab in a gated community and with no dumpsters. So we are paying someone to come in on a daily basis from a certain time. Yes, ma'am. To have trash hauled out. That can be very expensive. And
That's a good tip right there.
Now,
that is something that should have been disclosed. That was not
Never heard that before.
disclosed.
Thank you very much. Okay, last one. Anybody else?
Okay, well, I'm gonna tell you about a deal later that I'm working on. It'll be at the end. Welcome, admin notes. Please turn. Oh, I don't think I even have my phone off. So, if your phone rings, you're buying breakfast.
Let me call you real quick.
Too late. I got mine on.
Oh, yes.
I have some donuts over here out there.
yeah,
If you do need to take a call, just step out and turn your phone off. Restrooms are right out behind the room here. Deal and sponsors table right up here in front. So if you have business cards, flyers on any properties that you're working on, that you have a deal on, you're trying to wholesale, all the sponsors have their marketing info up there. So please go take some of that and keep those folks in mind when you need their help. If you would like text reminders of this event, please go ahead and text OK to text to that phone number there, 817-898-4164. I don't always do it. I didn't do it for this event, but a lot of times I'll do that. So if you just want the reminder, then that's what that's for. What do? We meet, network, joint venture, motivate, provide moral support. Is it important to have moral support for new investors here?
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So if you go home to your family, if you're brand new in the business, you just learned how to spell real estate, and you go home and tell your mom, dad, sister, brother that you're learning how to buy houses with no money, what are they going to say?
You're crazy.
So if they do that enough, it's going to get you down. It's going to demotivate you. And some people say, I'm disbanding you as my family. I'm going to go get the deal done. And then you're going to go get that first check for 10, 20, 30,000. You're going to blow it up. And I call it the shut up check. Just blow it up and go take it and show it to mom and dad or whoever the naysayers were. Okay. That moral support's really important. So coming to these kind of meetings is really important to keep that moral support and in the belief, because you're going to hear people talk about doing deals with very little money, doing deals and making a whole lot of money. And you're just going to hear all kinds of stories about that stuff. So, and you're going to learn what to do, what not to do, like buy a condo that's got to be full rehab. That, you know, that was worth it. That was a good tip. Okay, so sponsors. We have what we call sponsors you can trust. These are sponsors you can trust your grandmother with, meaning, you know, you could send these sponsors or grandma to these sponsors and have them take care of grandma and you still be able to sleep at night. Okay. These are good folks, been in the business a long time. They've been with us a long time, and I highly recommend every one of these. We have a couple of them here today. Let's start with Mr. Paul with Rugged Construction. Please put your hands together and thank Paul for the coffee.
My name's Paul Brazino. I'm a general contractor. I've been doing construction for 35 years or something like that. We do residential, light commercial stuff. We kind of specialize in investment properties. We work with all kinds of investors. Not only do we do the construction work of it, the general contracting work of it, we also do a lot of consulting where people have their own contractors they'd like to work with, but that contractor may not be versed in an investment property and what needs to happen with investment property versus, getting it ready for a personal home. You're going to do much different things. So we walk through the house. I'll go and walk a house with you before you buy it, kind of show you what to look for, different items. So you kind of, lowers that oops factor after you buy it. But if we can help out in any way, then let us know and we'll come walk a property or give you estimates or show you how to estimate while you're walking the properties if you're new at it or whatever. So
Material costs and so forth.
I don't go over material costs with anybody because not anymore. I used to, but now it just changes so fast. Yeah. I mean, I can tell you that, we can get you a front door for, $400. Now all of a sudden it's $650. So.
Now, for you both investment properties, are you open to leads from people that just want a new kitchen or a new bath in that?
We do retail kitchens and bathrooms for people and stuff like that.
I was just looking at if I know somebody needs something.
Oh, absolutely.
Where they go. Okay.
Yeah, we'll still do some of that stuff. We kind of limit where we're at because our crews are mainly taking care of investment properties.
Okay, no worries.
So, but yeah, we still do kitchens and stuff. So, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Paul. Ruth Ann.
Hi,
Service
y'all.
First
If I
Mortgage.
haven't met you, I'm Ruth Ann Dunham with Service First Mortgage. Sorry, I'm not. I've been doing this 30 years and used to be in real estate before that. I've only flipped one property and that was many years ago. So I'm not a competitor. But I'm the traditional lender. We have a hard money lender, but I'm the traditional lender. But most anything the hard money lender can't do, like, well, it has to do with investment property lending. If you have a buyer who's a foreign national or ITIN or can only prove income by a 1099 and not on a tax return, things like that, I can help them because we have a system that's very unusual for a traditional lender to be able to do those things. I have friends I've developed at banks that send me the business they can't do, like DACA loans or bank statement loans. So self-employed people, I think they can't qualify. They can. So whatever you need, give me a call. I'll need information.
Thank you, Ruth Ann. Ruth Ann's been with us a long time, and she's helped a lot of our members over the years with refinance and stuff. So, and she occasionally gives people good leads.
Are we going to hear about that?
You're going to hear a little bit about it. You're going to hear a little bit about it. Okay, Mr. Don.
All right. Good morning, everybody.
I noticed you didn't let the other guy out of his cage.
Oh, well, no, I did not. Actually, he is somewhere else this morning, so he said, "You go." Happy to do it. And to the young man on the front, I will take a lead from anywhere. Matter of fact, we just did a roof just this past week for an investor that had a rental property all the way out in Paris, Texas. And that was a little bit of a haul. I didn't realize it was 2.5 hours out to Paris. But we do everything you could want involved with roofing. And we actually have a specialty product that I'll tell you about. But one of the first things is if you're looking at buying a property and you're not sure what shape that roof is in, call us. We don't charge anything for going out there and taking a look at it. We can usually give you a pretty good estimate on the age. We can definitely tell you if it's got any damage that's worthy of an insurance claim. Because if the previous owner still owns it, still has insurance, a lot of times we can get that claim filed through the current owner, get that roof changed at almost virtually no cost to anybody. But everybody comes out a winner. So if we can create a win-win for you, that's what we want to do. But between my partner and I, we've been in the roofing business since the early 80s. So we know what we're doing. We've dealt with every major insurance carrier out there, so we know how to deal with that. If you do have an insurance situation, We can meet your adjuster out there, and I just a little shy of 100% of the time we get the roof bought if we meet the adjuster out there. It's getting to where you can't let that adjuster get up on the roof by themselves, right? Because they'll find a way to turn it down. Just a quick example, had a couple in Van Alstyne turned down 3 times by State Farm. And they even had pictures of the hail, and some of it was that big. And it was all over their yard. And we finally said, hey, we're not putting up with this. We didn't have to get a public adjuster. We got the guy back out there with us. We got the roof on. So we can help out with those types of situations. For those of you that more specifically are buying rentals, you want to minimize what you're having to put into that house to get it in good enough shape that you can move it on down the road and spend as little of your capital as you possibly can to get it to that. We have a product called RoofMax. That's why the name of our company is RoofMax. RoofMax is a product that was created by a firm out of Ohio, and it basically restores an asphalt shingle to within 2% of what it was when it was brand new, for about 80% less than the cost of re-roofing a house, and the company gives you a 5-year guarantee. Just a quick synopsis of that. Your shingle's asphalt, just like an asphalt road. What does the sun do to asphalt? It leaches all that petrochemical oil out of it, and it gets dry and brittle, it cracks, shingles blow off. We use soy oil that actually, it's not a topical treatment. It absorbs into that shingle, puts the oil back into those dry asphalt particulates, and returns the flexibility to the shingle. So when you do that, you slow down the granular shed, you increase its ability to withstand a hail strike, and like I said, its permeability goes back to almost 0, so you're not going to have leaks, right? So if you want us to come look at a roof for you, we can look at it from just an inspection all the way through doing the re-roof for the RoofMax product. Thanks a lot.
I can't believe you didn't use our house as an example.
Yeah.
So we have a rental in Burleson that Don sprayed. A week later, we get that hailstorm come through.
Yeah.
If I remember it, maybe 2 months or so ago. That house had a hailstorm. We had a picture of it. The tenants kept the hailstorm or hail. I mean, it was huge. Grapefruit size.
Yeah. Sorry.
Amazing. I went down and looked at the roof and with Lenny, and Lenny had doubt, I did too, that we would get the insurance company to buy that roof, because even though that was a big hit, there wasn't any on the roof.
Yeah.
But to his point, Lenny met the adjuster, and they bought that roof.
Wow.
I mean, I just shocked, because there really was not much damage.
Yeah, there weren't that many hits, but they were,
and they weren't big hits.
Yeah.
I mean, so I don't know if just a fluke thing. I don't know if that piece of hail even hit the house, honestly. But the spots that I saw on the roof weren't that bad.
Is it something that you would do preventative for a home?
Absolutely. That's what it's intended to be.
Yeah.
Just like you change the oil in your car.
Yeah.
This gives you a third choice now, besides repair or replace, to maintain your roof. And we can treat it up to 3 times. Basically, in Texas, look at it this way. Hailstorms notwithstanding, we could get you 30 years out of the 30-year roof. Legitimate.
Yeah.
Wow, that's nice. Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's pretty impressive, the product is. I watched them spray it. It's pretty impressive. I just hope that when you spray a week later, you're not getting hailstorms as a norm.
Oh, Tip, one other thing I wanted to say too. Anytime you guys use us for a re-roof, if you have 3-tab on that house, we're going to upgrade that roof. We don't put 3-tab on. We're going to upgrade that roof to architectural with no extra charge.
So I'm a new investor myself, and I'm working my first property. And so Tim and Don have both taken care of me, and that was nice peace of mind going into it. I have people that are experienced with working with investors, and it's like Tim said, it's people that you can trust, and I have a lot more peace of mind. I've been a lot more comfortable in doing my first flip, having people here, so it's been very good. Thank you.
How often do you recommend respraying?
You get a 5-year guarantee, so it's every 5 years. We can treat it up to 3 times. You would still be significantly under the cost of a re-roof at that point, right? And plus you're spreading that capital out over time. And anytime you can do that, you have the ability to make money off that money you didn't spend.
The thing is, though, by the time you get to your 3rd spray, you're going to have a hailstorm.
Oh, yeah.
Here in Texas, you're going to get hail.
Yeah, and here's the other thing.
You just aren't going to get.
If that happens, you got a deductible. In Texas, you legitimately have to pay that deductible by law. But since the Roof Max product had nothing to do with the insurance claim, we'll take what you spent on Roof Max and we'll give it back to you to help cover your deductible if we do the re-roof on the house.
Okay, moving on.
Yeah.
All right.
So August REI couldn't be here today. They are a third-party servicing company. So if you are selling homes on owner finance, they will act as the servicing company. They will collect the payments, make the underlying mortgage payment if there is one. Hopefully they're mailing you a profit check each month. So the difference of the underlying to your owner finance note. And they're also doing the end of the year tax statement, and they report to credit. And they also will do the first, if you choose to do so, the first notice if they are in default. So there's reasons why you may not want to do that, but that's for another day. Longhorn Investments. Ryan couldn't be with us today. They are a hard money lender. They are a great hard money lender. If you need funds for doing your first deal, actually, Sarah used them, and they really took good care of Sarah. And they have some really easy programs to qualify for and get your deals done. So you want to reach out to Ryan. By the way, all of these sponsors are on our sponsors page on the group. So you can go there, see their email and their phone numbers right there on the sponsors page. Again, I encourage you to go look at that sponsors page frequently so you'll remember who's there. Robin with Bearcat Capital. I'm sorry? Oh. I'm standing here and I didn't even see you. I'm sorry. Robin, welcome.
Okay. So as Ruth Ann said, I'm not a competitor either. So what we do is we buy the notes that are the mortgages, however you want to phrase it, from you. We can buy a partial, and we do this a lot with people that are flipping. Maybe you have owner financed a deal. I did one just a couple of weeks ago. It was a property out in Odessa, and it's not one of our members because he's not in this area, but he had actually flipped a house in Odessa, and the person that bought it is also an investor in that local market, and he wanted to cash out because he wanted that money to go do another deal. So we were able to work something out in that scenario. And you may have inherited a note, maybe from parents or grandparents. They had to finance a house, and so now you're the one that has the note, and maybe you've got a couple of siblings, and you all are splitting a $550 payment every month. It's hardly worth that kind of money. That's depending on buy groceries for what you're going to get each month. But we can come in and buy that note, and maybe you've got a note that you don't want to sell the whole thing. So you've still got 16 years left on it, and you're making $800 a month, but you need $25,000 cash now. Well, give me a call because we can buy what's called a partial. We'll come in and just buy the next 4 or 5 years of that note, so you get your $25,000, and then at the end of that term, whatever we agreed on, we can come back and say, okay, do you want some more money? We'll buy some more from you, or do you want to sell the rest of it off? We, you know, everything's negotiable. I don't have any big management team that I have to go ask permission. So just give me a call, give me questions, and I had to sneak out early today. So, but all my information's on the website, and I'm happy to talk to you. Give me a call. Thanks.
Thank
Rob. Traverse Property Management, John Damon, he's was Kimball Property Management. You probably remember that. He's gotten his broker's license and he started his own property management company. I think he's going to be here next month. John will be here next month. You'll hear from him. And he manages a couple of our properties and really does a great job as a property manager. He's somebody that does what he says he's going to do to manage your property and not just take your money. So give him a call if you need help. Magnolia Title, previously known as Simplified Title. Martin has launched his own company now, and Martin has been working with me for probably 10 plus years now, doing all of our investor type deals. So he's been doing all of our investor deals for many years. He comes in periodically and does an update on all the legal updates and stuff in the business. So he usually does that a couple times a year. So very important to not miss that event. And again, all his info, all that info, contact info is up on our sponsors page. Any questions about sponsors? So we're always looking for more sponsors. They got to fit that trusted sponsor definition though. So if you know other folks that would be a good fit for this group, then please refer them to me. Have them call me, you call me, something, and let's get them in here and see if they're a good fit for us.
Hey Tim, you had a list of what you needed. Can you share that with us?
So Think Realty is another part of your members' benefits. It's a free account. When you join Think Realty, you have access to all these different companies here. There's more than just this, but through them you get a pretty significant discount when you go and purchase product with them. You do have to, it's a two-step process. You have to register with Think Realty first, and then once you're inside the Think Realty website, then you have to go register for the individual accounts. Okay? Question? So you can go on the website all the way to the bottom. You'll see the info for Think Realty. It should have been in the first or second email that you received when you joined as a member.
Okay.
But you can also go right here on this presentation or just scan that QR code and it'll take you right to the registration page. Okay. The one that I've used a lot of in the past is Home Depot Pro Specialty Services. Doorknobs, hinges, appliances, lights, fans, things like that. They're not a 2x4 drywall kind of company. It's a specialty services company where they, window blinds, stuff like that. Okay, here's the answer to your question, Otis. So these are the types of services that, we're still looking for. This isn't a all-inclusive list. No, there's others, but this is just some examples of other types of sponsors that we could use. Handyman services, HVAC company, trash out, staging, cabinet makers, window cleaning services, window company, carpet cleaning.
I know the realtor.
Ever talk to me? Okay. So just, anything that, any kind of service or product that we as investors use and they want to grow their business.
Okay. I mean, what better place could there be to be in front of people that use those types of services all the time? Okay. Need more deals? Anybody in here have too many deals? No? Nobody raise their hand. So, you know, again, I've talked about this a lot, but you can click there or just go to the property listings page on the group website. Okay. Check it frequently. You get a weekly email with the properties, but check it as often as you like, because that weekly email goes out weekly. Okay. So something else, you know, may come up before that weekly email goes out. So you might want to check there frequently.
What kind of deals around this? Yeah. Like, is it like prospective purchases, you know, like homes that are? Yeah,
these are most of them are going to be wholesale deals that somebody's trying to sell. Mm-hmm. I'll put my retail deals after I've rehabbed them, put them on there in case a realtor sees it or something, or not. I don't see a lot of retail buyers looking at our site, but maybe they do. We do promote the webpage, so there could be people finding it in the search engine, you know, the properties that we have. But most of them are going to be either rentals or flips, wholesale deals. I mean, and they're properties from the members using their members' website. So they have their site activated that they get for free as a member. They bought a house, they put it on their website, and it comes up to the group site to be displayed.
Jim, so if we have somebody that does something excellent for us and we're very impressed with them, have them contact you to see if they can go on as a
sponsor.
So
yes, that's a good start. I can give them all the details about the way the program works, but I don't sign them up that day. I want them to come to the group meeting and see if it's a good fit.
Okay.
I want them to feel the meeting, you know, meet people, see if they enjoy, see how they like the way we do things, and just make sure that they want to be here. Okay. But yeah, if it's somebody that you've used, I'd much prefer that, not a referral of somebody that referred somebody, but somebody you've personally used.
And if we need somebody, is there a chat box or something? Like, I would love a good Texas attorney, if anyone knows it.
Well, our title company is Martin Garcia.
Martin Garcia?
Uh-huh. So if you go to the sponsors page to Magnolia Title, you'll see Martin's contact info. You met him, right? You were here for his presentation?
Maybe. I can't remember. So many people. It might have been.
Yeah, I think you were, but I'm not sure. But anyhow, go to the sponsors page.
I will.
And look for Magnolia Title. Okay, the ladies group. We've been doing this now for maybe 4 months, 5 months, something like that. And I would encourage all the ladies to go register and attend that and see what you think. JJ's looking for any kind of speakers that would be willing to step up and help the group. The meetings have been lasting, I think, about an hour. Is that right?
Yeah.
An hour. So I've heard good things, but you know, not there.
You can put on the list. But you don't qualify.
I've been told that. Although I do have a name tag that names me Candy. Does that work? Okay. Why are we here today? Anybody want to talk about house hunting? I'm going to give you a second chance to say, does anybody have too many leads?
No.
I thought there was going to be somebody that was really good here and was going to be able to step up and teach us. Okay, let me get switched over here. This will take me just a second.
Who's that?
Don't look. You know her. Well, I get too many things going here, and
I don't ever see Tim identifying as a candy ever.
thank you. Okay, so we're sharing. Sharing, and we're recording. Where are we? Recording. Sharing. We are still being recorded. Okay. The watering hole for North Texas real estate investors. Come drink the Kool-Aid, right? Well, I'm not going to sniff your bottle, so if you strategic off-market house hunting, how to? What's that mean? Find them. Find them.
The non-traditional sources of the release.
Yep. Is that important for us as investors? Isn't this really the primary way we buy houses, right? Is there anybody in here that has never bought a house from a seller directly? Let me rephrase that. Is there anybody in here that has only bought from a wholesaler? Only one deal, right? Yeah, so one deal from wholesaler. But is there anybody else that buys from sellers and wholesalers? Everybody, the experienced folks, are you doing both, or are you buying from wholesalers? How many people never buy from wholesalers?
I've never bought a home.
Just trying to see who's doing what. Because of the kind of rehabs that I do, I can't seem to make a wholesaler deal work for me. I just don't. My rehab costs are pretty high. I just have a hard time finding stuff that works for me. Okay? Maybe I'm just expecting too much, but
So one thing that I've done, especially new people that want to become wholesalers, because on the gurus, so I JV partnered with them. I actually make them go through a rehab so they can actually see what it looks like to go through a rehab. So I have two wholesalers now that understand it, and they go find what I need. And it has worked really well, but you need to know how to rehab. So, but I actually walk them through the host tests.
So for the experienced folks, what's one of the biggest problems with a new wholesaler when he does this analysis and tells you what the ARV is going to be and the estimated repairs? What's the biggest problem with that?
His numbers.
His numbers are off. You don't have a clue what the real rehab costs are.
Right.
I get a lead that says built in 1950 needs 10 grand rehab.
Right. You can't even buy a door for that.
I mean, you almost can't get a 5-year-old house with that kind of repair cost. I mean, that it could happen, but I mean, just cosmetically cleaning landscape, making it ready. That's money pretty fast, especially in today's market, right? But what Pam did is a great idea. Make sure the wholesaler understands the rehab process, and not just the rehab cost, but the comp piece too. You got to understand comps. A lot of people don't know how to read comps. So there's a lot to it. So we'll talk about all kinds of stuff here today related to this. I put a lot into this. I hope you see the benefit to it. This is important to me in my business, but I know this is something that everybody in here needs to learn and understand. And oh, by the way, this is an interactive meeting. I want to learn from you too, because I know I don't know it all. Even though I've been doing this 23 years, I know that especially some of the younger crowd out here are using different tools and different methods and stuff. So I'm hoping to walk away with learning as much as you want. So what we're going to cover today is off market versus on market. How to buy a house every week. Is that cool?
Yes.
Challenges in today's real estate market. I think we have a few challenges out there today for investors. What many investors do for lead generation, what many don't do, and that might be an opportunity for you, right? Types of off-market leads to target in today's market. Sources of off-market leads. How to communicate your message to these potential sellers. And systemizing your business. Oh, and technology and artificial intelligence. Has anybody heard about artificial intelligence? Kind of hard not to, right?
But you gotta go careful with it because it's lying.
So, but artificial intelligence is sneaking in everywhere we turn, right? We're going to talk a little bit about how you might use it in the business. So, off-market leads versus on-market. What's the difference?
Awareness. On market, everybody pretty much, public knows. Off market could be just yours.
Listing with the real,
So your on market is for your MLS, right?
Yeah. MLS or FSBO, one of the two. There's only two on markets.
So, do we need them both?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes and no.
Off market's better.
I mean, on market stuff, I look at them, I get email notices from a couple different realtors. I'm really, even though I'm trying to raise my buying discount some to try and buy a rental property so I don't have to do so much work to it with my IRA, I still can't buy it because there's still too much multiple offer scenarios going on and people just paying ridiculous prices for houses. Right? So for me, I'm not wasting a whole lot of time on the on-market stuff. I get the emails, I skim through them real quick, but it's hard to get there before anybody else. And it's even if you made a good offer, then they're still taking multiple offers. I went and looked at one that didn't indicate at all they were taking multiple offers, and they accepted an offer the day before and didn't tell the agent that I went and looked at it.
Yeah. That's when I thought we were talking about offers. Now I'm considering the real estate thing. I thought once you have an offer with the realtor, then you put your earnest money down and it's
Tim, does anybody use prop string like this?
Some do, I don't, but some do.
Okay.
What's prop string?
We're gonna let's before that we're gonna talk about this.
Okay.
What's the one sure way you can buy a house for you?
Consistent marketing.
That could be it. Right?
Making offers.
Many offers.
Offers every week.
Well, it's really tough in today's market, right? Yeah. So, but what's one sure way of doing it?
Way too much. Way too much.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We want to do that.
No.
All right. So let's forget we ever had that. Let's get that's out of the way, right? So now let's talk about how we can go by that. Seriously, people pay too much all the time. And I just don't understand it. Even as much as I want to buy a house, I'm not paying, overpaying for it.
Mm-hmm.
Challenges in today's real estate market. Sorry, I had to, some of this stuff is pretty top and bottom, packing a lot of stuff in these slides. So, hot sellers market. That's part of our challenge, right? I mean, sellers putting houses on the market and instantly have multiple offers. That makes it hard for us. The stuff that would never go on MLS, now so much of it's all on MLS, right? Because they know they can sell a shed that should be bulldozed for 400 grand. I mean, it's just crazy. So, but the word's out, right? Sellers know that they can do that now. So it makes it hard to get to those people first. Strong job market. Is that a challenge for us?
Yeah, a lot of money being be able to buy like that.
Yep. People have solid jobs. They're not going into default as much. They're being able to keep up with payments, keep up with the house. There's a lot of new buyers coming here because of the strong job market, which makes it less houses available for us as investors to buy. Out of state and international home buyers and investors, is that a problem?
No, right.
There's a lot of people coming in from out of state, whether owner occupants or investors. And I just heard a word on the news the other day about international buyers. They're starting to back off a little bit. But they're still coming. And all of that is competition for us to buy investment properties.
So Tim, so last year before the interest rates started going up, that was all true. But we're kind of like, especially since the interest rates been going up, hasn't that started to cool down a bit on all those? Is that what, I mean, that's a question.
Hasn't cooled down enough to where it used to be. You know, I mean, depending on who you talk to, I mean, I'm still seeing pretty hot sellers market. Also, just looked at it, had 4 offers on it.
Well, that's because the inventory, there's not as many people selling this. So they were,
it's out of state.
Yeah.
Out of state is even slowing down from what it was.
Yeah, it might be, but it's not enough.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a market watch guy. I don't sit there and watch the news every day, read the news every day of what the market's doing with housing. That's just not it. High appreciation rates. Does that affect us?
Yes.
High interest rates. If you're trying to do a BRRRR method, you know, buy, rent, rehab, buy, rent, buy, rehab, rent, and refi. The interest rate's going to impact that. Yeah.
Well, that does give some opportunity, though. If say you have a seller that has like a 3 or 4% interest rate, you can actually make the difference in spread between the low interest rate and what you give the home finance.
If you can buy those creatively, then it's a great deal.
I buy all those. You get them, I take.
If I get them first.
I'll be y'all's wholesaler.
And then crazy buyers paying way too much. Is that a challenge? Yeah. I mean,
some of them got out of the market like Zillow last year.
Yeah. But individual buyers, home buyers, are just, there is a low inventory. And when something goes on the market, everybody swarms it. And just crazy offers on it. It's just crazy. What are many investors doing for lead generation today? Before I give you my ideas, I want to hear yours. What are people doing today?
Bandit signs.
Cold calling?
Bandit signs.
Yeah. Bandit signs.
Say again?
Bandit signs.
Bandit signs?
Direct mail.
Text messages?
Driving for dollars.
Driving for dollars? That's a tried and true one there, right? Driving for dollars. Been around a long time. Bandit signs been around a long time. What else?
Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist,
Craigslist.
any online,
Probably
FSBO.
So, is anybody doing Craigslist and having any luck on it?
I'm gonna hop back on there.
Huh?
I haven't started, but yeah, that's they're happening. Postcards and letters is
Direct mail?
That's expensive.
And then the
Direct mail can be expensive if you're doing it wrong.
one deal pays for your year.
But
Yeah.
we're going to talk about it, but
Okay.
the goal with direct mail is get the best targeted list with the correct message and use the right delivery, meaning which postcard system and the cost to keep it down as best you can.
So like a divorce list, probate, those types of distress.
We're going to
stuff.
talk here in just a minute about it, but yes, you want to target. I call target marketing, shotgun marketing versus sniper marketing. Okay, shotgun is you mail the whole zip code, right?
Mm.
You hope you hit something and it'll stick. But sniper marketing, you're going after a specific motivated seller, somebody that's in foreclosure, divorce, maybe code violations, things like that, probate. So let's see how many of you hit what I had.
And then the one you really missed that seems to be really popular is text messaging.
It's restrictions.
Software to actually.
It's restrictions on it.
There's restrictions,
You can't
yeah.
do it like you used to. You can't
Yeah.
just blast people. There's
No.
restrictions on it.
There's restrictions on it. There's still a lot of people doing it.
There
You
is.
have to- you
It's
have
just
to
like
be
brainless
careful on
voicemail.
block.
You can't do that stuff.
You have to
You don't get
folks
your
to
hands
opt in.
slapped.
That's the key. is you have to
Your
opt in.
first fine on a text message is $1,200. The second time it's 22, and the third
That's a big
time
slap.
you're going to the court for probation, and it's going to cost you $5,000.
Don't do that.
So you don't want to just start randomly doing that.
No.
There are systems, if done properly, real force required opt-in forever. Yeah, because that's what the plan is. So driving for dollars, bandit signs. We already covered those, right? Direct mail, covered that. Cold calling, covered that. Various lists. We want to talk about targeted lists, and we will. Now let's talk about the ones that people aren't doing. What do you think? I mean, everybody's doing a little bit of something, but what do you think are the most common things that aren't being done by the average investor?
Door knocking.
Door knocking?
Door knocking, yeah.
Pay per click? That could be Google paid ads or Facebook paid ads. What else?
All of it.
Many people
Yeah.
fail at follow-up.
People start off on the radio.
By the way, I don't have that one on my list, so that's a pretty good one.
Social media.
But it's true, right?
Social media.
Social media. Okay. What else?
Billboards.
Billboards?
There's a big one downtown.
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't think
Any others?
Hard time with that one.
Okay. Custom websites and SEO. Okay. There's a lot of people that do this, but there's a lot of, especially new investors, that don't do this. Okay. And especially the SEO piece of it. They might set up a website, but to tweak it, either you have to be the SEO expert or you need to pay somebody. And a lot of people don't pay the people. Okay. It is well worth it to do that. You can get into organic SEO, which means people are finding you just based off of searches and not having to pay to do that with the paid ads. That's the best way. It's the cheapest way because you can pay a lot for ads. Blogging. I didn't hear anybody say blogging. Anybody in here blog?
I do.
You do?
On my real estate site.
What's the guy? Stale.
Andrew?
Yeah, he does some stuff on Instagram.
Yeah. So blogging is a great way to educate sellers and drive traffic to your website. Okay. And the more frequently you do it, the better off you're going to be. There has to be quality content. You got to learn how to write the blogs in so many words and keyword phrases and optimize and all that kind of stuff. But the blogging stuff could be a very beneficial part to your business. Social media posts and ads. So, you can go do social media posts for free, but the ads are paid. And, when you start doing paid ads, you can start targeting the audience, the age, the location, images, video, all that stuff is important when you start paying. You do want to make sure you know what you're setting up and make it very targeted because it could cost you a lot of money. You don't have how much identified that you want per click. It could get really expensive. So it is an area that you should learn, get educated on it before you just go try and do it with no knowledge because you could spend a lot of money.
What are the top social media sites that you're finding are most effective?
Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram.
Okay.
I don't do TikTok. Some people are talking about TikTok, but those are really the main ones.
The second largest search engine, well, first is Google, right? What's the second largest search engine?
YouTube.
There you go. Those are really good ads that you can run if you know how to run them.
Yeah, YouTube is another good one. I'll have to add that. I don't think I have it on.
Yeah, and if you do those, people come back. And the thing about it is, they're not a one-time use. They are multiple. They're there forever. Once you put them on your website and you start getting content, they will come back. That is one huge thing that is often overlooked.
Video is one of the most powerful things you can do today. Okay. And I know you're all going to say, I don't like to be in front of a video camera and stuff. You don't have to be good. And matter of fact, you can even make video without even being in front of the video. Okay. So you just have to say, I'm going to do it and go learn how to do it. It's well worth it. Video is great. Have you heard the term YouTube Shorts?
Yeah. What's that?
That is it's for lack of a technical definition, but my understanding is kind of like the Instagram videos where they're really short. YouTube, they're just really TikTok, just really short videos, but straight to the point, and people love it. So you got to learn how to get your message in there in that short period of time. But it's really a very popular thing today. Maximizing your networking opportunities. Is that important?
Yes.
Okay. So there is so many new investors out there that don't have any interest in going and networking and talking to people like this. There's a lot of newbies out there that would never come to a meeting like this. And they're missing out on a lot of opportunities. That doesn't mean networking just at REIA groups, but other groups, BNI, meetups. It doesn't even have to be real estate related, but you have to go out and spread the word about who you are, what you do, and what do you have to give people. A business card. Don't go anywhere without having a business card. Quality real estate investor education. Be a student of the business. Are a lot of the new investors doing that? They get on a blog, they see something on Bigger Pockets or some other blog somewhere, and they think they've learned it all. And they don't know. In Texas, for example, they don't understand the Texas laws, and they go do something stupid. Okay? They don't learn the ins and outs. They don't learn the contract, how to fill out a contract properly. And, they're just not learning the business the way they should in order to maximize their profits and take care of their customers. So I think these are opportunities that all of you can take advantage of to help you expand your marketing plan for sellers. Go bold. Don't be afraid to tell people who you are, what you do. I have a friend of ours that years ago when I first got in the business, we did everything together, did some deals together. And most of you have seen my truck. It's not here today, but my Ford is wrapped. I buy North Texas homes all over it. And you can't miss it if you're in a 5-mile range of it. And he wouldn't even put a magnet on his truck, the door magnet. We buy houses. And he wouldn't wear an I buy houses shirt. And he was big in his church. He would not give any members of the church his business card because he didn't want anybody. He didn't want to have anybody think he was trying to take advantage of.
I want to know where your pink shirt is that says, "Where's your next dream house?"
I don't have that shirt.
Well, it's popular right now because of a certain movie out there.
Oh, no. If I see one more, you could go see that movie.
Where's yours?
What movie is this?
I hate to say this, but I
that?
heard it there at one time.
Barbie.
I heard bad things. I haven't seen it, so I don't go.
But go bold. Okay, don't be afraid to tell
That
people.
would be going bold.
That would be gold. That's true. That would be going bold.
Come on, Tim, just
I heard a challenge in that. Don't you guys think so?
Yeah.
We should all follow him around wearing that
What?
shirt.
What are you
Walking
saying?
into Barbie.
I didn't hear anything.
Oh,
And we can put it on YouTube.
that's a great idea.
So, but anyhow, don't be afraid to tell people who you are, what you do. Okay. You don't have to wrap your truck like I've done, but why not?
You could throw a magnet on it somewhere.
You could put a magnet on, although I will warn you, in Texas, what's been going on here the last
Big crack and
month or
stuff.
so, 100-degree temps,
Oh, yeah.
they will damage paint. I had bird dogs using door magnets, and he pulled it off one time, and it pulled the paint off. So the decals are cheap. Go to a decal place. There's a couple of them out in Weatherford. But, when I did that truck, now that was back in 2007, I paid $700 to do that. Okay. So it is well worth it.
Have you ever had anybody drive up and say, "I need to talk to you"?
Well, they've not done that, but they've called.
Okay,
I got 2 houses off one call. That was a pretty good deal, huh?
that's pretty good deal.
Did that make the $700 worth it?
Yes.
I would pay for your truck.
Huh?
Exactly.
Oh, I think so. It was two subject to deals, actually. Dad and son and daughter-in-law. Mom passed away. They wanted to move together. They needed a bigger house. Yeah, pretty sweet deal. But anyhow, go bold. Don't be afraid. Not to belabor the point, but this is something that can make a big difference. Don't be afraid to tell people. Okay, what kind of off-market leads do we want today?
Good one, sell it.
What kind of good leads in today's market?
Vacants.
Vacants. Yep.
That's in any market.
That's in any market, anytime. Vacant's always going to be good, right?
Distress.
Distressed. Okay. Free and clear. Is that a good type of seller? You know, that's actually my number one
Target.
Why is free and clear so good?
They can sell or finance.
Well, if they're a seller, if they need to sell or want to sell, they should be your number one priority, because if they really want to sell, there are so many opportunities to make that deal work. You can pay them more than they're asking.
Yeah.
That just blew everybody's mind.
The interest rate's low enough, yeah.
So how would you approach them, like coming from an investor standpoint, as opposed to them going to a realtor?
So you got to find out what their circumstance is, but find out why they're trying to sell. And, you know, you could start off by saying, I'll pay you full price. No realtors, no commissions.
Find out what their need is.
You know, it depends on what they're trying to do. You know, you got to still got to do the screening that you normally do. What's the condition? Why are they selling? When are they moving? All that kind of stuff. But you can actually pay them more than the house is worth by structuring the right terms to make that deal work. Like nothing down, no payments, low interest rate. You know, this is too much for this class right now. Okay. But I'm just telling you, don't be afraid of these kinds of home sellers, because if they're motivated, you can structure 50 different kinds of deals. Something's got to work for them. Okay. If they really want to sell. And you can, even though today's a hot seller's market, if they're willing to work with you rather than listing, you can still buy it faster than a realtor can sell it. All they have to do is agree, and you can be done in a couple of days.
Sometimes the house is in like bad repair, and they know that they will have to fix the property up. They don't want to invest the money into it, so they'll be willing to work.
Yeah, I mean, I understand from that standpoint, because I do know someone who husband passed away and they want to, you know, sell a house, but the house is immaculate. It's in excellent condition. So I don't know how to approach them from an investor standpoint, you know, to acquire the property.
So that's not a house problem, but it would have to be a seller problem, a person problem for that to work for an investor, right? Like a divorce, or, you know, like you said, somebody passed away.
They want
Relocation.
they motivate.
I mean, that would be the only reason why they would
What's
sell
the
to
price
us.
point?
What do they want?
What's the
price
point?
point of about, I think about $275.
Oh my God.
That'd be easy.
Yeah.
There's so many different ways too, because if you don't go through a realtor, then you're saving them the realtor fees. So
They don't have to. Here's in a nutshell: no realtor commission, no listing, no cleaning, no updating,
No strangers through the house.
no having to move anything other than what they want. Right.
But I didn't know if like from an investor standpoint, would it be wise to offer them what the going price is? Well, I mean, because I've never done a deal before, so I didn't.
We don't really have time to get into
Yeah, okay.
details for that, but come see me afterwards and we
Okay.
can talk about it. But that's, you know,
And if Tim can't help you, I will.
Look, you've got JV options here. A lot of people are talking.
I mean, there's so many ways that you can help
Okay.
them.
But that was the first step, though. You have to talk to them and find the situation. It's in the
Oh, I have a situation.
Sure. I mean, especially if the house is in nothing condition. Yeah.
But you can definitely make their life simple
But it's free and
by
clear.
buying it on owner finance. So
They still gotta pay taxes, they still gotta do all that, they need to get out from underneath that house. That's where you're gonna drive.
any seller that calls me, is that a good type of seller?
Yeah, those are the best.
I'll take them in a heartbeat, right? Any seller that calls, I want to talk to them. absentee owners, tired landlords. Is that a good one?
Yeah.
Always will be a good one, right?
Yeah.
So when you're out driving for dollars, and you come across ugly vacant houses, you know, there's some tools out there today with your phones that, you know, you can take a picture right there on the spot and mail it instantly to the owner and ask them, how long's it been since you've seen this piece of crap? You might not want to use those words. You might not want to use those words, but seriously, you know, there may be a deal there. Okay, there may be a deal there, but absentee owners, tired landlords is, you know, people get tired of dealing with tenants and toilets. Probate leads, always a good one. Now, you ever want to build a business strictly on probate?
No.
Not normally, unless you're doing massive quantities of probate leads and always have something in the pipeline. But probate takes a lot longer than all the time. Somebody was telling me about a house the other day that the owner passed away and all the grandkids moved in and started destroying the house, living there, destroying the house, and the neighbors were all trying to figure out how to get them out. But they've never, you know, gone through probate. Does that happen?
Yep.
Grandma passed away, they just move in. That's a free move, right?
Our Halton City House, the probate took a year to close.
So probate are good deals. When you put them in your marketing system, you're going to want to follow up and follow up and follow up and follow up. Some heirs are just too distraught about the circumstance, so they don't take action on them. So they take a while. And I say a while, some of them are years before they actually are ready to start dealing with the estate. Okay. So, but those should be one of your good leads. For sale by owner. Always a good lead. Divorces. Is that a good lead?
Yeah.
Is that an easy deal?
No.
You have to be a therapist.
It's emotional and it's a battle zone for men. Not always.
And you're going to be in the middle.
And, you know, I see, you see them on MLS too, right? The judge awards the husband the house, but the wife is living in it, but they have to list it. And then she's uncooperative, won't make it available for showings, and it sits there and sits there and sits there. But divorces can be ugly. But if you can get to them with the right message and just focus on, hey, we can do this, get it done in a couple of days, and then you'll never have to see each other. You know, I mean, you got to come up with your approach, but that could be a good deal for you. Vacant properties. Does vacant mean ugly? Distressed? Not always, but many times if they sit there vacant too awful long, they're pretty bad. I'm going to show you the deal at the end of this if we have time. If you're interested, that I'm working on right now, that's vacant. It has been vacant for 7 years. Pre-foreclosed. Okay. Was it on this one? No. Okay. All right. Evictions. Is that a good one?
Yes.
Burnouts. Custom list. So custom list going after senior citizens that live in 2-story home, 65 years of age.
Wait, hold on.
Or more. Might describe it. And they've owned the home for 25 years.
Yeah.
Just as an example, right? Now, what did I just say? Who is the seller? What's their situation?
They gotta go in the single story. Gotta move.
They have trouble maneuvering the stairs. They may have lost a loved one at 65 years old, maybe. And at 25, been on the house 25 years, things are probably falling apart, don't you think? Appliances, probably needs a new roof.
Walked one last year. And the first thing I noticed, I walked in marble floor. And the wife is sitting in a lounge chair with probably 15 bottles of pills. And they hadn't been upstairs in probably 4 to 5 years.
Yep.
They had to get out.
Yep.
Because the house was deteriorating around them. And they knew that. But they just couldn't let go of it because of the price of what they thought of it.
So
We help them.
the other thing about that is senior citizens typically know what they want and need. True. Go try and have that conversation with a 25-year-old couple. Right. Am I wrong? I mean, you know, they don't know what they want and they won't make a decision. Are these folks going to make the decisions? If you present a solution to them clearly, show them how you can help them, then you could very well do that deal. But this is a good list here. You know, senior citizens, 2-story house, the age group, the years that they've owned it. And that's just an example. You don't have to use the same numbers, but
So question, right on this. How do you find that and what tool do you use to find it? So I'm gonna make you dig a little deeper.
anybody got an answer?
Real close. You use real close.
Stream.
You can do it on Freedom Soft too.
So,
This REI.
so there is a bunch of list sources out there that you can go and buy a list from. You just have to be careful on how old those lists are when you get them. So you got to ask some questions. I'm pretty sure that I can do that list in RealFlow.
Oh,
I think
Wheel flow.
RealFlow. It's all I can prop stream.
Okay.
I don't know that prop stream can filter to that level, but I can't do a 2-story house. I don't think, but I can do all that other stuff. Okay. The new lead flow app, you'll hear me talk about that in a few minutes. I think you can do the same thing. I don't know that about the 2-story, but I have gone and used, I haven't bought a list in so long, but I bought a list with 2-story homes. And so I know you can do it. And, I think a lot of the list companies that you can physically talk to a person, you can do that.
And do you think that's listed on the county website or county sites? Search bar.
I don't know if you can pull a 2-story though.
There's some counties doesn't have a 2-story designation on there. Some of them do.
Right. You have to assume square footage, garage, stuff like that. You have to say, well, maybe this one would be.
Yeah.
And then age of the home. Well, age of ownership.
So you can choose age or years of ownership.
Now, on these lists, do they vet against the do not call list for those of us that don't want to hand slap?
I honestly don't know.
Yeah. This source is another good one. I think you can dial in quite a few. Freedom Soft, you have to kind of guess around the age and you know, by the time they own the property. But I think this source, that's one I've used in the past, and I'm looking into it again to build a list. You can dial in quite a few of those. I'm not sure about the 2-story.
If I can choose the years of ownership, do I care really about the age of the home?
No.
Not much. I mean, it's 25 years old, no matter what, right?
It gives you a sense of the equity.
It gives you the equity, but somebody owning the house 25 years, if they haven't been able and capable and funding and stuff, the house is probably starting to deteriorate.
Yeah.
So if you started putting in a year built with the years of ownership, you're probably getting back into some older homes. You know, if you started choosing built in 1975, you could be talking about some pretty old homes if they've owned it for 25 years.
As a realtor too, Jim, I can go to tax rolls right on the MLS and pull up all the tax rolls, any property. So if you drive by it, You just put the address in and pull up the tax and find out who lives there, how long, you know, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. But will that tell them if it's 2-story?
No, might not.
See, I can do that with lead flow. I can drive the neighborhood with lead flow and I can find out who owns it and tax roll info and everything.
The MLS.
I just don't know.
Yeah.
If it's 2-story. No, it's a good question. Pre-foreclosures, always a good one, right? Is anybody doing pre-foreclosure marketing subject to deals?
Yeah.
What are you seeing?
So we do the ROTI list, and the reason, and there's pros and cons about it, but the reason we do the ROTI list is because like August is over with, so we're actually, so next one is September. I have to think about this. We're almost in the middle of the month, so around the 20th of August, we will be working October's. So like, and we call and we door knock, and we're trying to get to them before they go to the courthouse. Right. So that is our objective during the pre-foreclosure list, and we do a lot. We have a door knocking team. We actually taught them how to door knock. We put on an 8-week program. We're going to start it back up when it gets a little bit cooler, but it does take a lot of time. But our deal is if you can go learn how to door knock a door, you should be able to make phone calls. Going to the courthouse, and people are saying there's not as many properties and it's going to the courthouse. That is because the door knockers are getting those deals before they go to it. So, and within the last 8 weeks, we've picked up 3 properties from door knocking that would have gone to the courthouse that are not going to the courthouse permit. So I don't know what, I know there's a lot of information out there that it's not true information, because like I said, we bought 3 of them before they ever went to the courthouse. So when people say
trustee filed in the courthouse for foreclosure.
I'm sorry.
When you say go into the courthouse, you're saying that a trustee has gone to the courthouse and filed for foreclosure. You're catching them before they actually hit the list.
We're actually hitting them before they get to the courthouse on the first Tuesday of the month.
They're on the list,
goes for sale,
but they're not going to foreclosure. Taken off the list before.
So you're saying that they've already been on the foreclosure, it's already been filed in the county, but it's not gone to foreclosure for the sale.
Right.
Now what's a ROTI list?
He's the one who puts
So so George, back in the long days in the 70s, I don't mean to take this, but you asked.
I did. That's a big source in this area. It's been a source.
It's just a list it's a list that is produced for all the houses that are on the pre-foreclosure list that's getting ready to go to auction for the first Tuesday of the month.
So is that RODI?
No, it's 4. So it's the number 4 for the closure, CLOSURE.info.
That list has been around for a long time.
Yeah, it's been around, and there's people out there, like people talk about prop stream, but the reason they're graphing about prop stream is that they're saying it's too late.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's the reason why we do ROTI, because like I said, we already have, not all of October's has been pulled, but we started ahead of time. And you don't get that from prop stream. You don't get that from other sources and everything. So
Real Flow don't do that, or it's too late.
It's usually 6. They're usually 2 to 3 payments behind by the time it gets prop stream, which is sometimes too late.
Right. So that's the reason we do. That's the reason
they're gone by the time you get the list.
Yes. I think ROTI list pulls it off of the first mailing, right? The first foreclosure mailing that goes to the
ROTI pulls it. What people don't know is ROTI has people at the courthouse at all 254 counties. Okay. And so they actually have people sitting there, and because you have to, the trustee has to post it. It's a public notice and it has to be posted. So once it's posted, those people go in and they get pictures and they have a system all set up where it all goes blah, blah, blah.
So the other list is real estate IQ. I don't door knock those. I don't know how it is. But anyhow, those lists can be really helpful. And it's not just pre-foreclosure. You need to understand the currency of any list that you get. How old is that thing? I get so just to prove the point, I get postcards periodically for houses I owned 10 years ago. Somebody's buying a list somewhere
That's old.
that's so old, and people are spending money, you know, sending me postcards and calling me from houses I owned 10 years ago. So just know, you know, ask the questions. And honestly, there is no such thing as a perfectly current list, and it's not going to happen.
This week I got a text message regarding the property I have in San Antonio, which I have never owned.
I can tell you,
You were the third or fourth person down on it.
I've used real estate IQ's list to go door knocking. And we spent probably 3 Saturdays every door I knocked that our people had already been. So it's not current. That I can tell you. Is it accurate? Probably yes. Is it current? No. And you walk up and you see stickers on the door, you see flyers on the door, you know it's already been knocked. Yeah. Those people are not going to answer the door.
Have you guys ever just gone down to the courthouse, have a system where you're pulling yourself instead of going for the list? Like
I get my list better than what Rodney does.
So you do it yourself?
Same thing. When I go knock a door, there's nobody does it.
Where do you get?
So that's how you do it. You actually go, you pull the list yourself, right?
Great secret.
I've worked with a few other investors to find out how they've done it, and I've tried to replicate that. When you go door knocking and there's a sticker on the door, that means they've been knocked. It's too late because they've already been done, they've already been hit, they've already been called.
I mean, the bottom line in this business, in the marketing is the goal is trying to be the first one at the door. Yeah. Right? And try to be the
So here's the thing, and I just said, we door knocked for 8 weeks and we had 3 deals out of it.
Yep, that's
so. I mean, it's a technique that you have to do. So, like I said, it works for us.
It depends on what it is too. If I go up and knock on a door and you go knock on the door, they may answer the door for you before they answer it for me.
So we tell people that guys, you have to take a female with you.
Yeah.
If you're a guy, you have to take a female.
And a female needs to take a guy with them.
And I can tell you,
there's some tricks. There's some tricks.
I'm wearing this shirt because this is my door knocking shirt. You know what? They have to talk to me because I'm wearing an American flag.
Yeah.
If I wear anything else, I don't get the door knocks, I don't get the answers. Wow. But if I'm going in there like this and I'm relaxed, they talk. There's a whole thing about door.
Yeah, if you wear a
there's whole courses out
Can't
there.
intimidate.
You know, you do have to have a plan. I'll say that.
You better be thick-skinned.
And you got to be thick-skinned. You got to know what you're going to say. You got to be comfortable. You got to be rehearsed. You got to know what you want to say and how you want to say it and stuff. But you know, and Ann's obviously figured out a system for them, but her system may not be the same system for everybody. So you do have to go out and do it. You can't just go do it one day and expect to have 3 leads.
Oh, now you tell us.
Okay, moving on. Water shut off list. Has anybody done this?
I have.
It work?
Yeah.
So,
and that's free. You can go to the city site now instead of
So going in the office.
yes.
So this is a list of people that have moved and turned off water. Okay, it is public information. And you have to go find out from your city what the requirement is to request that info that it's available. Why is that important?
The house is not naked.
It doesn't have water on.
It's probably
Does that mean that it's a house you can buy?
No.
No.
Be a vacation
But-
house.
But you now have a house you can go look at and see what it looks like and see if it's a problem property and so forth, right? So you can start marketing to the owners. Code violations. Anybody working code violations?
Yeah.
Good work?
It does.
How do you pull your list? Or do you pull a list?
Oh, it's online, the code violation stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, but you gotta kind of surf around and.
They'll send it to you
You know.
depending on the county. They'll send you a code violation, you have to do an open records request.
I've been trying to get over that person.
In Parker County, you have to do an open records request.
But it is a good list, and you know, the other thing, if you haven't heard this before, the harder the list is to get a hold of, the better chance to create it. So this is another reason why I'm saying a lot of people don't do this stuff, because there's more work involved in it.
Yeah.
Military and job transfers. Why is this a good list?
They have to get out.
Is there, how many military veterans we have? Thank you for your service. This is another whole kind of business strategy right here. You can go work on veterans. I've done a lot of subject to deals with veterans that have great credit. Why would they sell their house that way?
Because they're familiar with it.
And relocate.
They can't, they know they're moving and they're worried about paying 2 payments. But we have these established rapport with me because I'm a veteran. And I have a good story. I have a good plan when I do sub-2 deals. So I've done a bunch of sub-2 deals with people with great credit. So that's something to think about. For rent by owners, is this a good list? Who is that? Landlord. How many landlords are landlords that didn't want to be landlords? They were forced into being a landlord because they couldn't sell at some point, right? They might be tired of being a landlord. Why not make them an offer? If they're advertising their house for sale or rent, you have a sign out front and they have a phone number on it. Can you text them?
Yes.
What's the difference?
They asked you to.
Yeah.
They're putting it out there for communications, right? Many people know what slide dial is. Anybody use it? So if you're out driving for dollars and you come across, I need to add this tonight. When you come across 3, 4, 5 for rent by owner or for sale by owner signs with phone numbers, open a slide dial account.
Slide dial.
Slide dial.
That's
It's like it sounds. SLY. And there's a free version, but you get some marketing in there. You can only do one number at a time. But if you do the paid version, which is pretty cheap, you can do, if I remember right, 5 phone numbers at one time. And you can record a message and send it to all 5 of them. So you probably want to do one for FSBOs and one separate for rent by owner. And the phone goes straight to their voicemail and it doesn't ring.
Yeah.
I agree with the name. Why? Now, is that a good thing? Going straight to voicemail and not ringing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For those of you that are afraid to talk to a seller, it's a good deal, right?
Yeah.
Who do you want to talk to?
People who want to sell it.
People
Motivated
that want to sell, the motivated seller, right? So if you do the right message, you don't want to talk to the guy that doesn't want to talk to you. You know, if you're trying to buy his house, if he's trying to rent it, he's probably not going to call you back. But if you got a motivated seller and he likes your message, isn't he going to be the one to call you back? So now you've economized your time. You sent one message to 5 people driving the neighborhoods, you're doing it on the spot and getting it done, and your phone might be ringing before you get it. Is that pretty cool? Go try it next month. Come back and tell me how many deals you do. Fly dial. Slide dial. My personal favorites. Any seller that calls me. That's my favorite seller. Pre-foreclosures, free and clear, senior citizens, and vacant houses. Oh, sorry, Tim. Seriously. I didn't have when I started this. Oh.
But you were late.
At least I still have. Right. But anyhow, this has always been my favorite list. No matter what the market's doing. Is there any other favorites I should be considering? Anybody? It's a pretty good list, I think.
Just the grass field, if you're driving, you see grass growing.
Yeah, that's the other one. Yeah.
You know, trees on the ground and.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, that's ours. This is a pretty good list, I think. Oh, it's probate. Yeah, but probates are always going to be the slower one. But they can pay off. It might be a couple of years. Again, you want to make sure you get them in your follow-up system. You know, somebody said that earlier, follow-up is key. I can't tell you how many people have told me, I'm glad you called because I forgot your number or I misplaced your number. So that follow-up call is very important. You can do follow-up, doesn't have to be a phone call, but it could be an email, an autoresponder type service, you know. I put my foreclosure folks in my foreclosure website and the probate folks in my probate website, and that all has autoresponders that go off periodically to keep them informed on things, me being out here and available and ready to buy the house, but I'm trying to educate them too, but also to remind them that I'm still there and ready to help them every day. But I use email autoresponders, website autoresponders a lot.
Do that in the real flow website, or you do it through the real estate company?
It's all real flow. I can build them in the premium site. I just haven't figured it out.
Yeah, I use the real flow.
Okay, so sources. Earlier we talked about types of leads. Sources now, driving for dollars. We've got the new lead flow app. Anybody tried lead flow yet? Okay. That link there got a 30-day trial, free trial for you. I'd encourage you to go play with it. It's new. I'm still learning it. Right up here. And it's a offspring, I'll say, of real flow, meant to be, on your mobile device everywhere you go. And that link will give you that free 30-day trial. But what they're doing is they're giving you the ability to research property on the spot. You can pull their own comps there, but we're still testing that. I don't think they're right on the money, so we're still using Capelio for the comps piece. But you can send direct mail to them instantly from there. You can do skip tracing immediately from the app. So it's a pretty cool system. I'm just trying to validate the numbers in it.
Skip tracing. You watch first.
Skip tracing. Skip tracing is if you have an address, but you don't have the contact information, you can have that skip trace. There's services out there, and they will, depending on the service, some of them give you just the phone number. Some of them will give you the email and phone number.
When you're free on people search, you have people search.
Yeah. But I think they limit the searches you can do on those, if I'm not mistaken.
And the other thing that's really cool about skip tracing is this. You might know one piece of information but don't have the rest. So, like, for example, you go to people search, you might know a name, you might know an address, you might know a phone number. From any one of those above, you can get the other information. And that's the key to skip tracing, is to try and get as much information as you can.
Referrals, realtors, friends, family, investors, trash man, mailman, pizza man, any kind of services, delivery type folks, you know, they're good sources. I mean, who sees the neighborhoods every week? Trash man, sure, right? Every week. Make friends with somebody like
Who
that.
knows the vacant houses? The mailman. Who knows everyone that he doesn't deliver goods?
They, I don't know how many have experienced this, but some of these folks are very selective.
Thank you.
So you got to massage that relationship in order to get some good leads out of it. Same with the county, you know, the city. A lot of times I found that they're really reluctant to just tell you what addresses, but they might tell you an area you can go see and you'll find a house that needs your help, you know. So, but don't just walk away and say, no, this is too hard, I can't do it. Those are the kind of leads you might get that nobody else is going to get. But all these types of folks can be great resources. You just got to build those relationships with them. Networking at other REIA groups, just like this one. Yes, I'm encouraging you to go out of the groups.
And bring back lots of information.
And bring them all back here. But seriously, the networking is invaluable. Don't go to it does you no good to go to these meetings and stand in the corner and not talk to anybody. Don't take business cards. I never understood why people do that. Been seeing it for 23 years. They go to an event, a networking event, don't have a card, and they stand off in the corner and don't talk to anybody. It doesn't happen to osmosis.
Tim, you know what I did on my card? My website is on my QR code on my card. Because people just, sometimes they'll not use it. Yeah. And if they can scan it right away, they have it.
QR codes are handy. Yeah. Real handy.
Another trick on those to make sure it's always a paperback and not final finish.
Right.
And people do.
So you can write.
So you can write on them.
Exactly.
They have it always available. Give them 10 or 20. Guess what? They're going to keep something they can remember who you are.
Mm-hmm.
Wholesalers and bird dogs. This is my wholesale site. Go there and sign up. Go to everybody in here should be trading websites and getting on each other's buyers list. Have you ever gone and searched on Google wholesale property or discount properties, DFW? You're going to see so many investor websites pop up. You can go join all their buyers lists. Now, that's if you want to deal with wholesale. If you're looking for those kind of properties, go do that. Sarah was going to ask all of you if you want to be on our buyers list. Either go talk to her before you leave, or just go here and sign up, one of the two. That way you'll get our leads when we have. Any other comments on this?
Just go to that website and sign up.
Yeah, there's a button up there to join buyers.
Oh, okay.
Okay, motivated seller lists. We've kind of talked about this already. Still trying to think about the other list source that I used to buy these from. It'll come to me. Listsource.com. I'm thinking it was ushomeLeads.com, but that sounds familiar. I had a personal contact there that somebody you could actually talk to. They had a website you could go to it to. But when you start really trying to filter down to details, it gets kind of difficult. So I just found it was easier to talk to somebody and get the right place. So, but anyhow, Propelio is one of those places. There's a link to them. You can go sign up for a 2-week free trial and then 50% off for 2 months. But you can pull your own list. You have to do all the filtering and sorting and stuff there, so you gotta know what you want, but you can do that on Propelio. Real Flow, they have that link there is a video overview of Real Flow. But in Real Flow, you can pull your own leads there. What are not good there is the pre-recorded leads because of all the reasons we've been talking about. It's too slow. Since it's quick, the information that gets updated to them is just late by the time you get it. If you do the Real Flow premium lead types, you do nationwide leads and you have 18 types of leads. Nationwide, 18 types of leads. There's the Lead Flow 30-day trial. That was designed to be for the investor that doesn't need all the extra stuff. The CRM piece of the tool, the document creation, the paperless office. That's the kind of stuff that's in Real Flow. The website, you can have multiple websites connected to it, stuff like that. Lead Flow narrows it down to just the lead generation piece on your phone. So that's the difference. Water shutoff list. Again, we already talked about that. So your marketing machine. So your seller websites and blogs. I mentioned this earlier. I can't stress this enough. You need a website presence. You need a strong website presence. You need an active website presence. You can't just build the site and not touch it for 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. People are going to see that. Okay? So if you post blogs on a monthly or bi-weekly or even weekly basis, if you can, that is by far the best way to keep your site current and to build traffic with Google by adding that frequency, keep it active. Okay. You want to pick topics that are going to be helpful to sellers. How to sell their house fast in Fort Worth, how to sell their house with the problem property that needs repairs, how to sell your house this week. Can't afford to fix up the house. You want to pick titles that are real life situations for sellers, and that's going to get their attention. Go out to my I Buy North Texas Homes site and look at the blog posts on there. See the titles, the types of things that people are about. Organic SEO by far is the most beneficial for you, but it takes time. It takes 6 to 12 months to get found by Google and start ranking well. Some people will tell you they can get you ranking on the first page quickly, and those people are scams. You don't pay to do that. Pay-per-click, definitely a boost in your business, but you got to know how to do it, because it'll drain your wallet pretty quick. It's not very right, but it's definitely worth doing. Website autoresponders. Every website you own should have an autoresponder series attached to it to communicate with the seller about who you are, what you do. I happen to use Real Flow websites that all have a built-in autoresponder, and you can customize them the way you talk, images, videos. That's what you want to do. You want to build them for you, but you want to trade your message for the seller. And that works 24/7. So once they're in that system, those autoresponders go out on whatever schedule you have set up. Text messaging, like we talked about earlier, limited, people have to opt in. Most of my text messaging is really with investor type of buyers that have opted in. I have a lot of sellers that opt in to text. If you talk to a seller, can you ask them?
Yeah. And some of them, if they text you, that's the consent. They have to text you.
So there's ways to do it, but you just have to make sure that you have that permission. You remember what the code was to text to me if you wanted messages for this meeting? What was it? Okay to text. Is that pretty clear?
Yep.
And doesn't matter what the word was because the system tracks you as opting in. But I thought that was kind of a good code to put in there and tell me if you were okay with the text.
That's a good way to get people to opt in. You might say, are you facing foreclosure? We have solutions, text such and such. And then the text, yes, you got to opt in and you don't have to worry about the thousands of dollars worth of risk texting.
Almost everything I do now says call or text. Okay. You need to give buyers and sellers multiple ways of communicating with them. Is everybody doing text today? No way. Does everybody do email? No. Is everybody going to go to your website and fill out a form? No. So you have to give people multiple ways of communicating with you. Your email signature should have those multiple ways. You have a website email and you should say call or text. And now all of our direct mail says the same thing. Bandit signs, they still work?
You can get fines from cities, but they still work.
Yeah.
And you get fined if you don't do it right.
Get a burger phone.
So, as you get out in the country, you typically not gonna have a problem. But you're in the cities, you got to be careful on how you do bandit signs.
You're going to call from the wrong person.
Most of the time, you can put them up on Friday night and take them down Sunday night, and you're going to be good.
A lot of work.
It's a lot of work. There are services you can hire to go do that, but it's a lot of work.
I'd be curious how many investors actually go down and take the signs back down.
I've done it.
I've done it.
It's not good.
It's a lot of work.
They all go put them up.
Usually a lot of them are taken down already, even with the 24 hours.
Yeah.
I would usually do it on like a Friday night and then pick them up like Sunday night.
That's what I used to do. I haven't done bandit signs in years.
Yeah.
So now you can, if once you purchase a house, whether it's a wholesale deal or you're going to do a fix and flip on or whatever, you can have a sign in the yard then, unless you're in an HOA. During the HOA, you have to be careful. Can you put the sign in the front window of the house?
It's your house.
Oh, it's on the description. Yeah, I'm not sure that if an HOA is going to stop you from doing that. I've not had them stop me doing that, but it's a good way to keep your sign, right? I've had signs. I mean, you put a sign in your own yard and it comes up this, right? So, but if you put it in the front window, it makes it a little harder to see from the street, but some people are going to see it. But in a neighborhood, when you buy a house, don't you want to buy more houses in that same neighborhood? So put a sign in the yard, a sign in the front window. Vehicle signs. In my opinion, it's always a good thing to do that. No, I'm not marking my new truck. But my Ford is, I finally got AC back in it, so I can drive it again. That was rough, no AC.
The winter months are coming, right?
Yeah, but even in the wintertime, you know, as warm as it was. Yeah, the winter's rolled up, it's still pretty warm. I got in the truck the other day with all those, you know, it was hot. Maybe not. But anyhow, vehicle signs is right. You can do the decals, you know, really cheap. I think I've done a couple back windows on some cars for me here a couple years ago, and it cost me like $50. So you can do the detail. We buy houses, whatever it is you want to say. We buy houses, maybe your website, phone number. I mean, it's pretty cheap. It's not going to damage your glass. The mistake I made on my Ford is I left it too long and it got dried up and now it's cracking, so I can't peel it off. So it's kind of looking bad, but it's still, the message is still pretty clear. That sounds like we need that soy oil sprayed on it. Classified ads. How many people are posting we buy houses ads in classified ad sites?
I'm not.
You are?
No, I mean, I've seen it. I was looking on them.
So you are missing the boat. This is free advertising. Any free classified ad site, Craigslist is an example, but there's a bazillion of them out there. If you go Google it, it's free. Spend the time. Do you have to keep doing that forever? No. Get some money flowing and then you can pay somebody to do it. But people need to be able to find you on the web. You can go out there and, you know, I've got pages and pages of classified ads that I've created over the years. They're all different. I just copy and paste. Copy and paste all different messages. Pre foreclosure, probate, ugly house, pretty house, divorce, you know, all kinds of different messages. You just copy and paste. You want to do it in text? That's the text type message or image.
I say text is easier.
Text is easier, but images is much more effective. Just go create your bandit sign on an image and just post that in the app instead of writing text. We buy houses, call, whatever messages you want to pray, but you want the images eye-catching.
Another reason why you want an image, it avoids being caught by the Craigslist for wanting to sell a house. They don't see nothing about an image. But if you put the text in there, they're going to find that ad. No, it's not just there, it's on many places.
They got really fussy.
It's called meme effect, if you really wonder what they call it. But that's what it is. Images bypass it.
This is a great task for your VA. If you have a virtual assistant, put them to work on postage. Now, many VAs have trouble getting to Craigslist because of IP addresses. If they're from the Philippines, there's no place. Even using VPN services, you may be able to do it. It's been a while since I even attempted to have my VA do it. But if you do a remote desktop type of program with her to your computer, she may be able to do it. But doing it from the Philippines, even using a VPN, Craigslist spots that stuff and they're blocking it. Big problem. Not all sites are like Craigslist. Craigslist is pretty strict. But anyhow, this is a big opportunity for those of you just starting a business with very little money, is go post these ads yourself. Create the ad in the Word document, save them, so don't throw them away. Save them, and then you can just rotate ads on different sites and different months and so forth. But huge opportunity there. Make sure you have call or text, the phone number, and a website. I would never put your email in a public ad like that. Why is that?
Spam.
They have scrapers that go out and scrape every email address from those ads. You'll just get spam to death.
Tim, is it a good idea if you're trying to track where you're getting your leads from to put like an identifying number on each lead item, like your signs? Yeah, right?
Postcards, classified ads.
Yeah.
Even if you just use your initials and a number.
Okay.
You know, something simple.
Yeah.
You could use the date, you know, but you could put something related to, you know, was it Craigslist CL1, you know, or CL January, you know, for the month, something to identify. And then you always want to make it a habit to ask the seller when they call, how'd you hear about it?
Yeah. Sometimes they'll remember or not.
Yep. So the another feature in my real flow marketing direct mail is I have tracking numbers. So I can put a phone number on that direct mail, and when they call that, I know it's associated with my pre-foreclosure plan, my probate plan.
Do you buy several phone numbers then to use?
They come to the real flow.
Okay.
But that's just an easy way because it shows me in the back office what phone number for the source was, so I know that what that particular postcard came back.
Another way of doing that is called their power. There's multiple things you can track this marketing solutions. So
there's a lot of services
tracking and getting marketing.
There's call real. Yeah, call real.
There's a lot of different services out there like there's a lot of technology that's come out since I started this business. Yes. And I've tried a bunch of different things over the years. I've just gotten to the point where I want it easy. Yeah. So Real Flow systemizes most of what I do. I just use that so much in everything that I do. I wish that they would update, and they will. There are always being updates and upgrades. They know that the text messaging system in Real Flow, as good as it is, it's antiquated. It needs to be updated. They know that. They're going to be fixing that, and that'll be better. But you can do text campaigns right through Nodi and have autoresponders going back and forth in the text, but it takes a little bit of work setting it up. Clothing. Everywhere you go. But you gotta tell people what you do. I wear this kind of stuff almost everywhere I go. To church. They know what I do when I pull it in my truck. But anyhow, this is just another way of promoting yourself. They don't have to be big and bold in the back. It can be a nice logo on the front. I have company shirts that don't say anything on the back and just has my logo on the front and name, things like that. But you'll find it helps. Business cards everywhere you go. Drop them like breadcrumbs. Shopping carts, Home Depot, Lowe's, Walmart. Go through the parking lot, the shopping cart corral, drop cards. What's the purpose of dropping that card? Get somebody to touch the card. What they do with it after that, it's up to them. Put it in the gas pump credit card slot. They have to touch the card. So make your message clear. Make it bold. Don't put so much stuff on it that they can't read it. Billboards. I've heard somebody say that earlier.
Expensive.
Effective.
Yeah, that lady's been running that ad
just south of downtown. It's on the right-hand side of the yellow one that's got her big bold face right in the, right after you get off the 20, get on 35 going north.
How many deals you gotta do to make the
Huh?
ad?
Kathy buys houses. She's been there for years.
I've never priced it, but I'm sure it's priced.
They're about $8,000 a month for something. Right?
Kathy buys houses. I'm telling you, she's been there.
Yeah,
It's effective.
It must
Radio
be, but you
TV
have to
ads.
keep paying for it.
Anybody done radio and TV?
Not in this business.
I've done the radio and it works. Unfortunately, the segment of the radio show is no longer running, so I think it's letting know that it works. Bought one of the best subject deals I've ever done on that radio. I want to go try that again.
Did you get a lot of response?
Not a lot, but I got one really good. Subject deal, made a lot of money. Bought it sub 2. I think I had like $5,000 in it. Sold it owner finance, and I was collecting $1,000 a month cash flow off that for about 6 years.
Wow.
And I was happy he refinanced because I've learned that the longer you leave somebody in an owner finance deal, the more chances are they might default. And you have to take it back. And I don't want to do that. I mean, a lot of investors are happy to do that. I don't ever want to do that. But I did cry at $1,000 a month. But I did get a big chunk of equity, so I'm still happy. But that was really one of my really good subdivisions. Bandit signs, you know, again, that can be part of your plan, but it's a lot of work. And you do have to be careful. You can't get a ticket. Garage and estate sales. You know, they could all be potential sellers. So, a business card, a flyer, visit those folks. Drive the neighborhoods. You see estate sale signs, garage sale signs everywhere. There is
or the newspaper.
There. Yeah, what the newspaper? Does anybody read newspaper?
No.
Yeah.
No.
So, estate sales, though, there's a website. I don't think what it is. Estates might be estatesales.com. Just Google it. But you can go subscribe to that and be receiving emails on all the estate sales coming up, when and where they are.
Estatesales.net.
Estatesales.net. Okay.
Oh.
So you don't want to go after the ones that's the commercial sales. You know, a lot of times they'll take all the stuff from the house and take it to the store.
Yeah.
You want the stuff that's going to be done. So try that out. See if that works for you. Expired listings, is that a good one?
Yes.
If it's expired in today's market, what's that say?
Overpriced.
So bad shape, overpriced, or both, or one of those divorcees that don't want to cooperate with showing.
If you're not an agent, how do you find the expired listings?
It's a list for it.
There's a list you can buy, but also just go to local realtors and have them set you up with the expired listing. Hear that? You can do that.
You don't want to do that.
I don't know if you volunteered for it, kind of sounded like it. But you know, that's what you want to do is you want to get those expired listings coming in and make sure you identify the market you want, the price range and stuff. But that could be, that was a really hot ticket back in about 2010-ish, 8. Well, it's hot ticket for a long time until just the last few years. But, you know, you still see expired listings, believe it or not. And that means there's a problem of some sort, at least. Anybody search Zillow for Crispo's and rents? Can be a good source. Join all the wholesale buyers list. I kind of mentioned this earlier, but search out all the wholesalers like websites and join their buyers list.
Email, comment.
Yeah, just be prepared. I mean, this, I'm not telling you gotta do this, but this is one way to start getting those leads in. You can always unsubscribe later. I've got quite a few now that, you know, being in business 23 years, I'm on everybody's list. And I get so much garbage, and I keep trying to go back to them nicely and say, hey, cut me down to Tarrant, Porker, Hood, and Johnson counties only. I do not want Dallas. I do not want Houston, Austin, Alaska, you know, California. I don't want it. Please. They won't do it, so I've been unsubscribed. Man, I just don't have time for it. Just too much crap. I don't want to drive that far anymore. Getting old or something. I don't know. Traffic sucks. Gas $5 a gallon. Whatever it is, I don't want it anymore. So I just, you know, I've tried to be polite about it. I've given them a solution. I've given them a free subscription to RealFlow that you can manage all that stuff to RealFlow. They're not doing it, then I'm cutting them off. Classified ad sites, I guess that's a duplicate. But I can't say enough about that being a good option for you. Firemen, policemen, city inspectors, these are all people you should build relationships with when you get a chance. It might pay to know them anyhow, right? But they could lead you to some deals. CPA, is a CPA going to know who's maybe in trouble, needs to sell something, maybe inherited the property? Become a member of the Better Business Bureau. Why is that? It's an option. Credibility. Don't people go to the Better Business Bureau and look for A-rated business owners? I bought houses for people that go search Better Business Bureau. One thing I did learn is if you become an accredited member, don't ever let that accreditation expire, because they won't go back. If you let it expire and you renew it a week later, a year later, they don't go back to the original accreditation date. You let it expire, you're starting all over again, which is kind of bad, I think. So definitely set it up on auto pay. But I think it's a worthwhile thing to do, because you can also get referrals, make sure your referrals or your customers go write reviews for you there as well. When people do search out reliable businesses on Better Business Bureau. Attorneys, don't they know people in trouble? Divorce, probate, bankruptcy, these are all good types of leads for us, right? We can know those attorneys. Door knocking, we talked about that earlier. I know people that just, that's all they do is door knocking. Contractors. A contractor's a good source of leads. Aren't they?
Yes, they are.
Where's my leads?
Oh, they must still be on my desk.
So, you know, contractors, they see people, they talk to people, they service customers all the time that have a problem, right? And they may be trying to do repairs to be able to sell a house. They may be a good source for you to bring you leads. Are there trash out companies popping up everywhere nowadays? I mean, it seemed out in Weatherford, it seemed like we got them on every street corner. There's a new one. The junk removal services, the big dumpsters.
Trash out.
They come clean out all the junk in the house.
I saw Dennis on them.
They're everywhere. And
trash out.
You know, they've the last time we got a price from one of the new ones in Weatherford, got pretty pricey too.
Yeah.
Pretty pricey.
But you have to figure out, this is why you're seeing them coming up. It's because a lot, especially here in Fort Worth, I can speak for Fort Worth. Your cities, like, they want you to use their trash service. So like, if you're in Colleyville, you have to use Republic. You can't go and call Budget Dumpsters and have a dumpster delivered. So you have to call and outlay. Is it easier to go call, these trash out, people, or is it easier to have a dumpster delivered for 3 days? You can only use it for 3 days and you're paying $800 for it. So that's the reason you're seeing more of the people coming up, because you may you have to weigh your options. So they may be charging you $500, but they're picking up the trash or you putting it in, yeah.
Unless it's a privately owned. So I've got a dump trailer.
Yeah.
And I can put that in any city anywhere and drop it.
I'm calling you next
City.
Every year for we'll do trash haul out story. All right, we have any other sources that we haven't talked about? Come on now, remember I was supposed to learn something here too.
Realtors.
I'll give you we're on there.
Oh.
The code violator, people that go around, they're on there. Oh, they're on there? Okay.
I think you got them all.
I think you did.
No, he did. Thank
Come
you.
on, give us more.
Give it up.
Every day, somebody goes into a nursing home, has to sell their home. Who knows about that person wanting to sell their homes or need to sell their homes? The administrator of the nursing homes, there's about 70-some nursing homes just here in Tarrant County alone. How many people have reached out to any of those administrators and said, hey, I want to buy those homes? There's one that's probably one of the best ones that's under you.
It kind of goes back to my seniors comment, but if you've missed them from, market to the seniors before they get to the home, that administrator might be a good.
Is there any disclosure things against that though?
All you got to do is go in on their board, their community board, and put your card up there.
Okay.
He's already talked about that, right?
Yeah.
The other thing is your churches. How many of these old folks go to churches every Sunday and then all of a sudden don't show up? Well, if you're there at that church or you talk to them, we've got a guy that has done one of his things that he wrote a book on getting rid of your property and moving on. What's his name? He's over here. He's actually over. Yeah, he used to sell the thing. That's a really big community that you can go after, but you got to know how to approach them.
Has anybody heard Max Keller talk?
Max Keller.
Okay, so he'll be on those agenda soon. So he's a local guy. He's got a program specifically designed to market the seniors to do what he was talking about. So it's pretty cool, pretty slick. But it's anything and everything to do with how to market, talk to, and promote and stuff to seniors that are in the phase of downsizing and considering going into law.
Our retirement community, whatever the case may be.
Churches are definitely another good resource. The homes going in those homes, if the bulletin board there, you certainly can put a card there as well.
Give you another, I'll give you one more. Now, this is not necessarily on the source of them, but this is a source to be able to help out. Ruth can talk to this, I'm sure. First time homeowner, she's got a whole bunch of programs. You've got a whole bunch of people in the youth in the church that can't qualify for a loan because they don't have down payment or they don't have what. But you have a resource available to you, Ruth Ann. She'll go through and she'll help those kids get into a home, right? She's going to give them free money. They don't know about that, but if you're there as a bridge, you can take and turn around and talk to the pastor and say, if you've got youth that can't buy into a home and they're renting, maybe we can get them in a home if they've got the right financing. You've got that in your back pocket. Ruth Ann will answer that call any day of the week. No. That's two. I'm done.
Those were great.
How about sources for sellers? Anything else? Okay. How are we going to communicate with these folks? Skip tracing services, we talked about that briefly before. If you don't have the contact info, then you want to employ a skip tracing service to track down that info. There are some free sites out there. And I think they may or may not be real accurate, but there's all kinds of paid services. Well, you got to find one that works for you. And Propelio, Real Flow, Lead Flow. There's so many out there now. All you have to do is Google it and skip tracing, and you're going to find it. Cold calling. Many people are cold calling. A lot of people don't like cold calling. So
we get this.
That's why you build a team, right? Of people that like doing the different parts of the business that you need. So I've never been a big fan. I've done it. I've never been a big fan of cold calling. VA services. There's a lot of VA services that will cold call for you. But you've got to train them to do what you want. You can't just hire any VA virtual assistant to do cold call. They've got to be skilled at talking to people, or have to be able to speak clearly. There's a lot of VAs that speak very good English. There's a lot of VAs that have a very strong accent. I have a hard time understanding the Indian type language. Very hard for me to understand. Filipinos, most of them I understand pretty well.
Yeah.
So, but something for you to consider. Tax blast, again, we talked about that. You've got to have the opt-ins. There's ways to build those lists. Those kind of lists are going to be much smaller than any other list that you have. But if you're marketing with some text opt-in functionality to it and they respond, then you can be building a list that way. There's a whole bunch of text services out there. You just have to go find the one that works for you. The one that we're using for the group is Callfire. And it seems to have a lot of capability to it, a lot of options. You can put images in it, but when you start putting images in a text, those services start to get pretty expensive. Real Flow, Mobi, text and voice messaging, that's free. It's not an extra charge inside Real Flow. It is, again, a little bit antiquated, but the system does work. You can create campaigns. People can opt in. You can respond. You can even go between text over to email. So it has a lot of capability with it. It's just a little bit harder to manage. Again, I've gotten to a point where I try and systemize everything and keep it all in one system. Email blast. There's a ton of tools out there. Constant contact, get response, eye contact, just a whole bunch of MailChimp. All those systems are outside my system, so I don't use those. Now, if you're using Investor Carrot, you can use all those. They'll link them up and communicate with them. So you just have to go do that setup. Mentioned this earlier, no cost for the autoresponders. There's all the email services, but there's a whole lot more than that. There's unlimited now. Direct mail, before I started using the Real Flow direct mail, I was using Click to Mail. Anybody use Click to Mail? When I was using them, they were right about the same price. They were the cheapest that I knew of at the time, prior to me going to Real Flow. You can buy a list from them if you want, better if you upload your own. You can create your own postcard in the system, or you can upload your own, and you're much better off to upload because then you can put an image in that postcard and choose to. Images in them are always better. It gets people's attention a little better. But click to mail was really cheap back then. But of course now the mail rates have gone up so much, click to mail is keeping in sync with them. I don't know why, but real flows rates do not go up just because post office rates go up. We're still at 45 or 49 cents for a postcard with real flow. That's pretty darn cheap. Yes. That's for the smaller card. It's not, for the 6x11 or anything, but it's still a pretty darn cheap postcard.
Tim, is that just for the production of postcard, and then there's postage on top of that, or turnkey?
That's the whole thing.
Delivered to the door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Delivered to the door.
Cheap.
And they will also tell you if it wasn't delivered. You're going to get that. You have the option to have that sent to you, so you can track it.
That's amazing. And then one more question. I was told by an investor, he said, don't ever upload a property owner's actual property and say, do you want to sell your home? He said they get defensive and it might freak them out. Like, where did you get this picture of my house? It's better to put a more generic photo. And I just wanted somebody's feedback who's been doing this a long time.
I think it's going to depend on the person. Yeah. And what are you saying? But I did mention that similar scenario earlier with the app. You can drive down the road, take the photo and mail a postcard right from the app. So
There's this thing called Google Earth.
Right.
Yeah. You can get it from Google Earth. I mean, there's your answer. Yeah. How'd you get it? Google Earth.
Exactly. So, okay. So
I would think if you got a postcard with your house on there, it would actually get your attention.
That's what I want, but
I think it's a
push back really strongly on that. This guy's been, it's just one person's opinion. So.
Yeah,
exactly.
they filter themselves out by.
Exactly.
Those are the kind of people that complain if you're called and offered a $5
Okay.
They're not going to believe you. They're going to complain.
Well, that's what I thought. Okay.
No matter what you do, what you say, you send direct mail out. There are those people.
No matter what.
No matter what.
Yeah.
I've had people call me. How did you get my information?
Right.
Saying, I'm not selling my house. I'm not saying you are. I'm just asking you what. Oh, I've had those too.
Sir, I was just going to say there's another mailing program. We use it for our contracting business. We get used for advertising. It's called SendGem. And I don't know if anybody's used that. SendGem.
J-I-M or G?
J-I-M. SendGem. And they've got, it's fully automated. You can do your own design in there. You can look up the type of business you're in. It'll give you,
Ideas.
a couple of dozen different design ideas. You can put a QR code in there, direct it back to your website if you have it, and then they will send you the list. They can even on their list break it down into if you're looking in a neighborhood, who owns their homes, who's renting, and you can just send to the owners. A lot of different things you can do with it. It's pretty sophisticated.
And what is the cost per postcard?
If I'm on a monthly plan where I pay them $239 a month. If I send the big postcard, it costs me 56 cents.
Oh, nice. Wow.
Yeah.
That's a good price.
Yeah.
But that's on top of the 250.
No, that is, I get points based on that amount. So no, it's baked in there.
Oh, that's a good price.
Yeah.
Do they have real estate investors in it?
I bet they do because they literally how they live. Yeah. Yeah, check it out. It's worthwhile.
We'll definitely be checking it out. Sarah will
call me about it.
Okay. The thing I've been able to master finally in real flow on direct mail was they give us the ability to do custom postcards. And they give you a template. It kicked my for years trying to figure out how to meet the template with the borders and stuff, but I finally whooped it. And now I'm creating custom cards for everything I do. They have a whole library of their own pre-made stuff. Now I'm creating custom, but now you just reminded me, I got to go back and customize them all again with QR code. Yes. I've done it, but they're not on any of these custom codes. Yeah. Okay, we're almost done here. Social media posts and ads. Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Google. You know, the posts are free, ads you pay for, but there's whole courses out there on how to do this stuff and do it right. But it's a great way to communicate, because who doesn't use social media today? Anybody in here not on social media? That's not true. You have a page.
I finally did.
But you know, some people are a little slower than others, but the majority of people use it. So think about that. Even if you have to hire somebody to go do it for you, it is a way that people communicate today. So it's a good way to communicate your message, your services that you provide. Again, images and video is a very good thing to use in social media. Voice dialers, anybody using them? There's a lot of people that use voice dialers. Everybody know what it is, right?
The car warranty companies.
Yeah.
What?
The car warranty companies.
Car warranty company, that's right. But voice dialers that fill in all the numbers and they just keep dialing and then just as you pick up, they hang up because they're on the other one. And so to me,
Noise.
yeah, it's a pretty good word. Ringless voicemail. I didn't slide down when I forgot this.
That's what I started talking.
So that was how many people are going to go sign up for a slide out? Try it. Door knocking, we talked about that. How many people are, you have a leave behind if nobody answers the door?
Yeah. Yes.
Are you using a leave behind?
Am I what?
A leave behind? Are you leaving something if they don't answer? You leave it to where anybody else that goes north and door knocking to see that?
Yes. We leave sticky notes. We don't do the big flyers and all that. And we post them up.
So I'll give you a tip. It's the big tip on door knocking. One of the biggest things that happens is that I come up with door knocking, I leave a sticky note. That's who the next door knocker is going to do. It's ripping that down, right? Huh? It happens.
Yeah.
Guaranteed. I've done it. Thrown it right in the trash and I'm done with this, right? Especially when I've had a dog come in. But take a note, write a personal note to them, fold it and have to slide it in the door so that nobody else can take that out of the door. It'll open. When they open the door, it's going to fall on the ground. Now they've taken action. They're going to read and find out why somebody stuck it in that door. By far more effective than that door knocker or the sticker or any door hanger or anything else, because they're not going to take and turn around and somebody else take it off the door. Nobody knows you were there. And then that way, when they open the door, they have to take action because they're not going to leave a piece of paper on the floor. They're going to find out. But that's one door knocking tip that I'll give to you.
Thank you. Follow up, follow up, follow up. You are throwing your money away if you reach out to somebody one time or two times, no matter what you're doing, what method. If you're door knocking, if you're sending postcards, if you're calling one time, you are just throwing your money away. Just give me a check. Just send me a check instead. Okay? You'll get more from me than you got out of that mailing to the seller, because it takes more than that. Okay. One, it's timing, you know, when do they need your services? But two, they need to understand, they need to get to know you and you know, they gotta get used to seeing your message. And then when they need you, they're gonna remember who called. Okay, very important. You need a system to do the follow-up. Whatever you're doing, make sure you have a system, whether it's just using your Outlook calendar or Google calendar. You know, we use combination of the calendar and RealFlow, but have a system so that you know when you last called, if there was any conversation, document it, and know when to call next. Okay? You're losing a lot of money if you are not doing something like that. Again, systemizing your business, your seller websites, opt-in forms, video, all that stuff it's got to be on your website. Video's the big thing today. Video is going to help keep them on your site longer, which is a key indicator to Google that what you're promoting is valuable to people if they stay on the site long. If they bounce right back off instantly, that tells Google that there's nothing of interest. And it impacts your rankings. So your website has to have an email and or a text autoresponder. Most of what you see with the website is going to be an email autoresponder. Very important that that marketing goes out when the sellers come into the site, you know, so you can keep in touch with them, remind them who you are, what you can do for them.
You know, and RealFlow offers a blended thing too, where you can do both email and text.
If they've opted in.
If they've opted in.
Oh, I have an autoresponder series that I use for realtors. You know, who we are, what we do, where we're at. We're cash buyers. You know, don't forget us. Send us your leads. Send us your deals you need to close on right away. Carrot websites is another way to systemize your business. How many people have a Carrot website? Okay. So I have 3. Yeah.
I'm in the process of going from a single site to where they allow you like 5 or 6, whatever it is. It's that multiple option where you can help this. Websites are low, whether people like it or not, they're low because of the way the search engine works. So you want to get multiple sites. You want to get multiple cities. You want multiple sites, one each located for each city. Yeah. And it's crazy, but it is low.
So I have 18 minutes.
But yeah, I think
but to my point here, Investor Carrot is one of the top investor websites that a lot of investors are using. There's a link in here for you to go check it out, watch a demo. But they teach the systems, they teach you how to optimize them. They hold weekly and monthly calls. They have a lot of marketing packages that you can upgrade to, like blog posts. They'll do blogs for you, and then you can customize them yourself, things like that. But they're very good at what they do. When you go start searching on seller websites in DFW, we'll sell your house fast, Fort Worth. The top 3, 4, 5, 6 of them are going to be Carrot websites because they're very good at what they do. RealFlow is my system of choice. I use Carrot with RealFlow. LeadFlow is the new one with the app, and I'm still experimenting with that. How many people use Zapier?
I do.
Do you really?
I do. Yeah, it's just it sits in between disparate programs and it can pull information from one and shove it into the other.
That in an easy explanation,
yeah.
That's about as easy as you can get to explain what Zapier is. It does integration between this program and this program to allow those two to communicate. Okay.
2 more programs, Tim. There's a really good program called Client Tether. I don't know if any of y'all heard of it. And it's it lets you pull in a lot of different generic things, but basically it's got an AI component where if somebody responds to a lead, it'll automatically send them a text. You can build a program where it'll send them a text. The next day it can auto call out for you, where it'll try to call them, and then it'll or it will remind you to call them. It can send emails, and you can customize that however you want to do it. It's $139 a month. It's
What
not,
site is that?
huh?
What site is that?
It's called Client Tether.
Client Tether.
And if you've got leads coming in from a lot of different places, HubSpot can do stuff with those as well.
Okay. Another one out there called Mini Chat. Mini Chat allows you to decide how you want to respond to them. It also ties in with Facebook, so that when you got Messenger, you can replace Messenger with Mini Chat. It'll automatically do your flow, so you go into your flow. There's a lot of automation that can be done.
Yeah.
So for all these ideas, if you would send me an email with these places, so I can go check them out. Like I said at the beginning, there's a lot of stuff that's come out since I started this business, and I can't keep up with it all. So, but I'd be interested in checking those out. But Zapier, the reason I brought up Zapier is that you can use it for things like whatever buyers list capturing system you're using. You can set up Zapier to move that info. For example, in RealFlow, if somebody signs up on my RealFlow list, I can move that info over to a Google spreadsheet if I want to. Okay. If I wanted to have it go that way, if I wanted to set up a big list of properties, if I had a new property come in RealFlow and I like to work off a spreadsheet to see them, I can have the data move from RealFlow into a Google spreadsheet. So, but it integrates with a whole bunch of other tools. I mean, there's, it's a pretty good sized list of things. It takes a little geekiness, tech savviness to play with it and figure it all out. But if you can figure it all out, it's pretty cool.
Use all what they call API, which is computer language allows computer programs to talk to the computer program. You get logins and some other things that go with it, but it needs data. One of the benefits to that is that Google spreadsheet, you can send up that do not call list, and then you can also send that out to other places. So it allows you to manipulate the data between programs.
Once you understand everything it'll do, you can do a ton of stuff. So you just got to learn all that. Or hard stuff. Photo is another pretty popular, I guess it's a CRM for lack of not really knowing, but a lot of people are using Podio. I've heard a lot of complaints about it takes a bit to get it all set up. So, okay, artificial intelligence. No, we're not talking about me. So much. So everywhere we turn, AI this, AI that, and both the good things and the bad, right? It's doing a lot of bad, and the regulators are trying to put some rules on things. It's got to be potentially quite dangerous when all the big wigs in the AI world are coming together to the government saying, hey, we need to put some rules on this stuff. So, it potentially has a lot of problems with all the fake news, the fake videos, the fake voices, and it almost sounds real. It's not 100% real, but it sounds really good. But it was created by AI.
About a month or two ago, it actually did fake case citations for a New York lawyer who's now under sanctions from a judge in New York because it had such and such versus so-and-so, and these were the facts of the case, which did not exist. It made all that stuff up. And opposing counsel seemed to said, it's not LexisNexis, this is fake.
Has anybody played with any of the AI services, ChatGPT, OpenAI? You will be blown away at what you get. It's all on the prompts and how you create the prompt. And quite question for the command of telling it what to do, but you will be blown away at how good it is. But you better watch it too, because it's not all accurate.
It doesn't cite sources for my testing, which means you can be subject to copyright infringement if we take what it gives us verbatim.
You do. I have found you've got to review it closely. But I've been playing with it some, and it's quite interesting. So I would encourage you to play with it, but confirm everything. You know, you can use it for marketing. You can use it to create web pages. You can create a course, write a book. You know,
Create your blog.
Yep. You can also take it and have it review and improve your web page and your blog.
It'll give you, I put in there 2-minute outline for a YouTube video.
Yep. The other thing,
It broke it down.
you know, I'm not a strong writer. You know, I have to really work at it. I could go whip stuff up in no time at all. But the key is learning how to ask the prompts, telling it what you want out of it, specifically down to the number of characters or the number of words, the number of pages. If you want those kind of limitations, if you're working with a tweet, you know, a Twitter X is what 140 characters, I think. If you want it to be in that length number of characters, you've got to say that. So just play with it, but just be advised, you got to confirm. But you know,
can I have one thing in there that will help everybody in the street? We just need an app version of it called grammar. It's loaded on my Mac. It addresses everything that I send, whether it's email, text, it doesn't matter. It flies off my computer. And you can go back and see how you're doing. You can tell it whether or not you want to talk at the 7th grade level, 12th grade level, whatever. Grammarly's free.
Grammarly?
Grammarly. It's called Grammarly. And if you do that, you're going to find that your written communication is going to be 1,000 times better. It's going to catch stuff that you wouldn't normally catch. It's like an auto grammar.
Yeah, it's a spell check, grammar check.
I'm loading it on my Mac. It's applied to every program on my Mac. Word, Excel, you need it. It's there.
I have it, even your phone, on your phone too.
Yes, it's on my phone.
I have the paid version.
So that's what I've got.
It's a powerful tool, but it's not an AI. It's not a creation tool. It's a correction. So if you want to run it across Grammarly, drop it over to Word and then put it in Grammarly and then check it with Grammarly.
Which one do you use for your AI?
I'm mostly using Open or ChatGPT. I'm playing with OpenAI. Bing has one too, which I have not experimented with, but ChatGPT seems to be the big one. They have a 3.5 version, which is free, and they have a 4.0, there's a paid version. But that paid version also has a bunch of AI plugins that go with it that you can go off and do a whole bunch of other stuff. Like it'll read website links and a bunch of stuff. I have not bought that yet, but I plan to do it soon. But you can do AI to create images and video. I mean, it's amazing. Again, just check it close. How does that apply to real estate leads? I can use AI in your real estate leads. How about creating ads? How about creating postcards? Creating letters? When you go ask ChatGPT to create you a home seller letter that was 1 page long and explain how we buy houses in Fort Worth fast for cash. And by the way, if you want to have keyword phrases such as sell your house fast in Fort Worth, sell your house fast for cash. You got to put that in the prompt. Chat is terrible at SEO, but you can tell it. Also, you have to, if you write a chat or write a prompt, to say for a blog page, it's not going to write it for SEO. And they say that the search engines can tell if it's AI written, or they can tell if it's AI written. So you have to go back and have another prompt to review it again to make it non-AI identifiable or something to that effect. So then it'll rewrite it again, so it won't be AI detected.
The search engines have started, so when you look at scoring, they call it plagiarism, right? So they go back and look at the source. The search engines have gotten to the point now they can do the same thing. If they do detect that, you're better off putting an error in there. So instead of saying of, say off. Everybody else is going to read that. Guess what? It's going to remove that sourcing as AI. It's good to misspell in some of your ads at the right place and at the right time to get it past the SEO. That's one of the tricks that I've learned.
There's a lot there, in other words, but you got to go play with it. You know, there's starting to be a lot of webinars on AI for real estate investing. One of my gurus that I learned from back in my early days has picked up on the AI thing. I may have heard of Richard Root. Anybody?
Richard who?
Root. He's a marketer by trade, then got into real estate investing, and now he's picked up on the AI thing. He's just going crazy with it. But he's doing frequent webinars and stuff. I thought about having a come to the group.
And so is Ron Leonard. He's also picked up on it, so he's pushing it hard.
But anyhow, one way that RealFlow has adopted AI is they're now scoring leads. Has anybody heard about this? They are scoring leads using AI. And what they're doing is, I don't have the full technical explanation of this, but there's a ton of public records out there on people and their financial statuses. You know, if they miss a credit card payment, if they miss a mortgage payment, if their credit score is going down, things like that, if they inherited a house, all of this stuff is public information that they have, and I've been told it's several hundred, close to 1,000 different sources of data that are being analyzed. And they are storing the leads in 3 categories: retail, rental, and wholesale. And the propensity to sell within 90 days is what this score means. And it's scored from 1 to 1,000. 1,000 being the highest score possible in likeliness that they would sell that house to the wholesale lead. Okay? Well, actually, the 1,000 could be in any of those categories. But I've been playing with that too, been watching it. And some of the scores, it's hard to really tell why it's scored the way it is. But, you know, there's all their data analysis that they're doing. They're presenting these scores. And the whole reason that they designed this is so that, you know, we've been talking about target marketing all day, right? We don't want to do shotgun marketing and hit the entire zip code, because how many people in that zip code just moved? You bought a house in the last 2 years, right? So you don't want to waste money on that. So what they're trying to do is narrow down your focus of who you want to spend money on marketing. And that's exactly what they're doing. They have these 18 types of leads. You can filter on those types of leads, and then you can score, and you can pick the scores that you want to target. And you can pick, you know, if you wanted to focus on rental properties, and these are current rentals that are likely to sell in the next 90 days, or wholesale that are likely to sell in the next 90 days. I don't mess with the retail stuff. But by putting in the minimum score that you want, naturally, if you're choosing a higher score, you're going to have less leads, right? But you're going to be able to really focus the marketing dollars that you have on those leads that have the highest score, the score that you've chosen, that say they have a propensity to sell in the next 90 days. So we are starting to play with those and starting to market, doing direct mail to those and see just what happens. But that's a part of real flow and lead flow. You can upgrade to actually the lead flow app comes with one AI zip code. It's by zip code. You can buy extras. I don't remember what the cost is per zip code. I have 3 zip codes with lead flow and 5 zip codes with real flow. So we're going to start, now that I have an assistant, we're going to start doing some direct mail. We're going to start really narrowing down the focus on these AI stores and see just how good it is and see who's market. Does anybody else know of any other thing going out in the community that they're using AI for with regards to leads? So we can use it to write blogs with, write seller web pages, write direct mail, write classified ads. We got some lead scoring here. Is there anything else that anybody knows of where AI is helping? I'm probably going to do a group Zoom call when I feel a little more comfortable with the new lead flow. Just kind of walk through and demonstrate the AI leads. But I love the idea of what they've done with that app. Okay, moving on, you're almost done. Writing blogs, writing courses. You start seeing me pumping out a new course every week. You probably can figure it out. Yeah, after it's been rewritten to make sure it's not AI detected. Kind of figure out what I've been doing, right? You can write scripts. You can write a phone call script, seller script, a buyer script. Chat GPT, OpenAI, Bing, those are the ones that I'm aware of. I'm sure there's many more. And like I said, Chat GPT has the upgraded paid version that allows several different plugins to go with it. Richard Group is saying that it's just amazing all the different apps and stuff that are coming out now. Used with Chat GPT. So I'm gonna, since I still can't remember for sure what lead list I was using before to buy the 2-story home leads, I'm gonna go back and look at my contacts and I'll find it and I'll share that. The lead pipes premium and real flow, there's 18 types of leads in there. But that video again is an overview of the tool. There's a 60-day trial link there if you'd like to try it. If you decide to buy, that link right there takes you to the store. We have the best price in the country because I do so much with real flow and been working with them 14 years. They've given us the best price in the country for real flow for 1 year. So, and you get 2 really good bonuses that don't come with real flow. They're sold separately. One is Facebook marketing, and one is private lending. How to raise private. Lead Pipes Premium with AI is a separate one-time upgrade for nationwide leads. the premium gets you 18 leads and it's nationwide.
Be sure to go through the website and click on the link that it's just going to realphoto.com will give you that discount.
Right. So if anybody wants this, you need to just call me for the lead types because they don't run ongoing specials. They will usually give me the best deal I can get for you. But I have to call and ask. They won't give me just a normal deal, but an ongoing deal. I've been working with them for 14 years now. So investor care sites, we talked about them. Foreclosure.com is another place if you're looking for foreclosure type properties. You can subscribe and receive email notices of upcoming foreclosures. Like that. Property listings page. If you're looking for deals, be sure you go back there and check that often. Okay, anybody? I know this is 12 o'clock. We're over the time. Does anybody want a couple more bonus slides? Mm-hmm. Sure. You can leave if you want. You can leave if you don't want. Oh. You're shaking your head. No, you didn't. You can leave if you want. I know it's getting late. So I threw in a couple other things here that's unrelated to finding, but we have quite a few new posts today, so I just want to cover a little bit more related to those leads, and that is determining if it's a deal for your business. So, what is your business? Are you flipping properties? Are you just a wholesaler? Are you bird dogging and haven't really gotten into the seller negotiations and writing contracts? Are you a turnkey landlord? Do all these questions make a difference on how you can buy leads and what kind of leads? Are you gonna, as a landlord, are you gonna maybe buy at a different discount rate than a flipper that's doing major rehab? Okay. I don't expect, I'd love to have a 60 or 70, 30 or 40% discount on a rental, but will I pay a little bit more for something like that if I don't have to do a full rehab? Yeah, I'll do that. So all of those questions matter in the type of leads that you look at and what kind of offers you make. And you've got to answer that question of what's the definition of a deal for your business. Are there landlords that will pay 90% for a house? Sure. Why are they doing that?
No work required.
You think it's going to be going up? It could be less work required, maybe not. It could be, but they're looking for the long-term cash flow with tax discounts, with appreciation rates. They're into it for the long term, right? So, if you're flipping houses, you need a different discount. I mean, if you're flipping, you've got to account for the quality of rehab you do. That's one reason why I can't buy from a wholesaler most of the time, because I spend more money on my rehabs than a lot of flippers do. So the price of a home, the after repair value. If your ARB's $100,000 versus a $500,000, you think the quality of work and the amount of money you're going to spend is a little different? Yeah, makes a difference. If you're renting a $100,000 home versus $300,000, are you rehabbing it first, or is it turnkey? All those things come into play with how much you're able and willing to spend. If you're just wholesaling, or if you're closing the deal, if you're just wholesaling and signing the deal, is there much risk in that? No. Do you need any money? No. In most cases, you're not going to need it. And there's risk in everything we do if you do it wrong and quickly, right? So, but if you're wholesaling, you can sign that as long as you know what you're doing with it. As long as you execute the contract properly and stuff, your risk is very little. If you're using cash or an IRA, or if you're using a hard money lender, is that a different risk? Yes. Is it using your IRA? Is that a risk? Yeah. Everything's a risk, right? But can you pay more for a house? Would you be willing to pay more for a house if you're using your own cash or an IRA? If you had no debt going out, does that make a difference? You don't have to pay a monthly payment.
I've got a question for you. Why do I do mine this way? But if I use cash or any of my own money, why do investors not pay themselves cash? If they're going to use their IRA, why don't they pay their money? They pull out interest just like they do with paying a hard money lender or anybody else. I pay myself interest on when I use money for flipping or anything else. But a lot of people don't think it that way. They think, oh, it's my cash, so it's, and which is ridiculous because then if they find another deal, they can't use their own cash. Now their system's completely different.
Yeah. So we had a house that rental, still have it, but we had a commercial loan on it. And I bought it with hard money and thought I was going to get it sold. I didn't, so I had to refinance it and keep it long term. And I had this commercial loan on it, and that was coming due. So we went and paid it off with one of our other entities, lent the money to this entity, and we're paying self-interest. So why pay the bank when we had the cash? It didn't make any sense to go refinance it to the bank, right? We had the cash. Now we're making interest instead of paying interest to that bank. We're paying interest to our own interest. But good point, Paul.
Well, another thing with that is if you use your cash and you don't pay yourself interest, when you go sell that property, that income is greater that you're paying taxes on because you didn't do it. I mean, if you're going to pay interest to yourself, pay yourself 20% interest, and then you don't pay tax on that profit.
So how many have changed their mail formula in today's market compared to what it was years ago?
What's your rate for today's market?
So 70% is the norm, right? Isn't that what everybody teaches?
Yeah. Trying to do that now.
We see the greedy people out there that are going after 60%, 50%. I had one guy call me and tell me he wanted 30%.
Wow. Yeah, we all do.
I just said good luck. But so right now, what I've done is I've changed that 70 to, depending on the condition of the house, 75% most of the time. But if it's in pretty good shape, I'm not doing much. Now, I can do that because I know how I'm going to do the rehab. For a brand new investor that's never done a flip, I wouldn't be doing 80%.
They need a JV.
They need to join that, that's right. JV with somebody, find somebody that knows what the heck they're doing. But it almost is, you almost have to change your discount amount in today's market to be competitive out there and help the seller and get the seller to accept your offer. Okay? So very important that you think about that. And some people haven't changed. Some people are 65%. But those deals are harder to find. That bigger the discount that you're expecting, the harder it is to get that deal accepted by the seller. Now, there's a lot of factors in what I just said there. If the person doesn't have a clue about how to go about doing the comps and what the art is, and what the repair cost, repair estimate is, you could put every one of us in a room and evaluate one property for repairs, and the purchase price, and every one of us would come up, or most of us would come up with different numbers. Okay, so there's a lot of experience, based answers, and a lot of opinions. Okay, and a lot of difference in the quality of things that you do. You know, so all of it matters. You're never going to get everybody to agree with the same numbers.
You know what's silly is they'll pass up a 70% deal because they're looking for that 65,
Yeah,
which is ridiculous.
they aren't. When the seller says no, they aren't willing to change.
Ronald Grant told me 70%.
Are you using an option period and not closing until you find a buyer? If it's a really high risk, is that a good thing to do?
Yes.
Yeah. If it's a really slim numbers, isn't that a good thing to do? You're not closing until you find a buyer. That minimizes your risk, right? Can you do that? Would you do that on a subject to deal back in the day when we had a lot of houses underwater? A lot of people wouldn't put a contract on those. I could put a contract on an over leveraged house, but I just wouldn't close it until I had a buyer because that minimized my risk. If I'm finding a buyer that's got the down payment money and can afford that higher asking price that I'm going to ask for it, then I can still help that seller that's in trouble. Conventional market probably can't help them, right? They're over leveraged. Today's market, that may be a different story with all the multiple offers and stuff that are being made.
So what's your typical option period?
As long as I can get those kind of problems.
So you just put it just like that until, right, for those kind of problems.
Well, you're gonna do an option that has to have an expiration date, otherwise it's not an option.
Right, but you put a date. But I'm going to have that conversation with them. I'm not trying to hide anything. I'm talking to the seller about it. If it's a difficult scenario and I'm not sure that I can get it done, I'm going to talk about that option period. You know, whether they agree to 2 weeks or 30 days, but I'm going to talk to them about if I can't get it done then, I'm going to come back to you and talk to you. Is that okay, Mr. Seller? We may have to extend that. I mean, you can do that with, you know, even when you put a house in the contract and the seller just wants too much, and you know it's too much because they're stuck on it, you know, go back and renegotiate it. You can't find a quality buyer offer, you know, and all you're getting is way too low offers from your buyers. Go back to the seller and try and renegotiate that price. Say, look, the seller, I've had 5 offers on this house, and they've all been at your asking price. I can't help you. Can we renegotiate that price when we get it done to it? Does that make sense? It's all about risk versus reward, isn't it? Isn't that everything we do in this business about risk versus reward? If it's a high risk, I expect a higher reward. If it's a low risk, I'll take less profit. Is rehabbing houses high risk? Yeah. You expect you need more than $1,000 payday on a rehab, right? I mean, there's a lot of risk involved between the money, the property, the insurance, the market. A lot of risk. Is a wholesale deal high risk? There's some risk, but it's not high risk. Are you pulling comps with MLS? If you're a realtor, of course, you have MLS access. If you're not, you need to be using a service that gets you real comps. You can't use Zillow. You can't use DFW or any of the other free services. You can't use the estimated value on realtor.com and these other places. Zillow. Okay? You have to use one of these subscription services. In Texas, I don't know about other states, but in Texas, we're pretty lucky to have some of those services here. The one that we use is Portfolio, and it's definitely my recommendation. There's more than just comps in there. You've got your driving dollars app and you pull in lists and stuff, but the comps tool is the main reason I use that. Yeah. No, I hear wholesalers saying Zillow says. That's the first clue. Now, do I still use Zillow? Yeah, I do. I go look at pictures, I look at trends, I look at what was previously written about the property. So I do use it for that stuff. I do. There are some rent things. But I can't, the numbers just need to stay with it. And just to tell you how the most extreme one that I've seen, a couple of months ago, Paul and I went and looked at a house in Weatherford. And my ARV on that house after $100,000 rehab, it was only about 4.25 to 450. Zillow, the first time I looked at it, before I went and looked at the house, and I looked at Zillow, it said 550. The last time I looked at it, it was like 610 or 615. The seller turned me down, said, I know this house is worth 600,000 all fixed up. Well, it ain't fixed up, you know. And but it's really just really extreme. There's no rhyme or reason for what I've seen. So it's just all over the place. So just be forewarned if you're looking at it. If it's if you determine it's a potential deal, set the appointment to see the seller. Now, back in the day when we had a lot of sellers calling, we've all been taught, or we were taught back then, you got to prioritize, you got to determine if it's truly a motivated seller and you have a deal, right? Because we don't want to waste your time on just somebody that wants to sell. We want the people that need to sell. But in today's market, for brand new investors, is there any value in going and looking at every seller lead that you get? Can you learn something from every one of those experiences? Do you think that if you establish good rapport and, you know, if it's not a matter of number, I mean, if the numbers could work, they just have to help you with the numbers. You establish good rapport with them, maybe they'll change what their asking price may be. But even if they don't, what do you gain by going and meeting with the seller? Experience. Mm-hmm. Experience. How to talk to the seller, how to establish rapport, how to look at the house, taking pictures, what to look at, record your conversation so you can go back and listen to it later and see how you did. You listen, replay the recording and say, oh, did I do that? And, you know,
that's stuff you can't get from a guru.
So, you know, go talk to the seller. If you're nervous, wouldn't you rather be nervous with a non-seller than the real deal that you blow it because you were nervous? So don't meet the seller. There's a good chance you'll never see that person again. Okay? But maybe you can make a deal out of it. But the point is, go for the experience. Now, don't drive to Houston for a knock. You know, if it's easy enough to go do, if it's in your farm area, your neighborhood, go see the seller. You can gain so much from doing that. Write an offer on it ASAP with a good option period, and then go complete the due diligence. Get that good option period. Make sure you put that option period on your calendar so you know when it expires, so you can terminate before it expires so that you don't have a problem. Implement your exit strategy immediately. Okay? How many exit strategies are you going to have? At least two. Many. At least two. More than one. At least two. You want to have 2 or 3 if you can. to, or more, so that if one doesn't work, something else will. Okay, exit strategies are very important. You don't want to have just one plan. Sign it, close it, rent, owner finance, or terminate before the option period.
Yeah.
Rinse, repeat, do it again. Sounds pretty simple, huh? Okay. You heard me mention earlier I had a deal I'm working on, right? This is referral. Referral from Ruth Ann, actually. Unfortunately, she had to leave, so she hasn't seen this. But this is a stellar house has been vacant for 7 years. Sad story too. Supposedly, it's the owner is the Air Force's first female colonel. She's 95 years old, still alive, but she's lost her mind. She's in Oklahoma. Her sister is the only family member in Oklahoma. Does not want this house. There was 3 houses total. This is the last one. I don't know why they didn't tell about the other 2 before. So this is the last one, but it's been vacant for 7 years. And it's a really good deal.